welcome you into the campus of Troy State University in Troy, Alabama for a key Southland Football League matchup between the Troy State Trojans and the McNeese State Cowboys. With Phil Paramore, I'm Barry McKnight. This is fraught with potential for both of these teams. With just a couple of games left in the Southland Football League schedule, the winner of this game definitely has the inside track for the SFL championship. And
these have been classic matchups down through the years between Troy State and McNeese State. The Cowboys, one of the few programs to really be a literal burr under the saddle of Troy State since Larry Blakeney took over this program. They lead the series 8 for last year's 24-7 loss on the road when the Trojans were ranked #1 in the country.
Of course, this weekend we celebrated Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day here at this ball game as well. The veterans on both of these teams will play a huge part. Slade Nagel is in his second year as the starter at quarterback for McNeese State. Nagel, the son, you see his numbers, the touchdowns, he has 13 of those, 16 interceptions as well, leads the Southland Football League. He has not gone a game yet without throwing an interception. On the other side, for Troy State, Brock Nutter has been there for quite a while, Phil.
Well, you're right. He has started every game at Troy State since his redshirt freshman year. He's a dual-pronged threat for Troy State, both as a passer, as you see here, and as a runner. He operates the Troy State wishbone attack, and the Trojans have actually put in some plays on the quarterback draw formation for him, too. 12 touchdown passes, as you see. The key, only 4 interceptions for Brock Nutter. He has strings of 103 and 108 consecutive passes without an interception. Brock Nutter is one of the big keys for Troy today.
As you can probably deduce from our background, the weather conditions are absolutely beautiful. We anticipate an outstanding football game this afternoon. It's Troy State and McNeese State. All the play-by-plays coming up on College Sports Southeast.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank, McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
What is Service Master Clean? It's as tough as making sure your carpets always look their best. And as easy as making sure your rugs do, too. It's responding quickly to get fire and water damage out of your home, while keeping what you want in your home. That's Service Master Clean.
Service Master by Jack. Call 478-1133.
Happiness is owning a new or used car or truck from All-Star in Sulphur. Not just because of the great purchase price, but because of the speedy, excellent service that makes owning a car or truck from All-Star a pleasant experience. And now All-Star offers its all-new 16,000 square foot paint and body shop equipped with 2 extended state-of-the-art paint booths and frame machines located on 2 acres on North Douglas Parkway. All-Star is able to repair any make or model, including motorhomes and 18-wheelers. For your free estimate, come see us at All-Star Pontiac GMC Truck in Sulphur.
The course of this football game, Vance Duncan, our referee, is conducting the coin toss, and as you see, McNeese State has won but has deferred their option until the second half. Here's the standings right now. McNeese State and Troy State feel exactly the same, 7-2 overall. Both teams' only loss in the conference has come to the third-place team, Northwestern State. And many has been the time over the last 4 or 5 years where really the SFL championship has come down to this game.
Well, it's been great matchups down through the years between these two teams, but McNeese State has enjoyed the better of it here, certainly of late. Troy State is 46-6-1 at home during Larry Blakeney's tenure here. 4 of those 6 losses here at Memorial Stadium have come at the hands of McNeese State.
Northwestern State in third with Sam Houston State both at 6-3. Larry Blakeney, all-time winningest coach in Troy State University history. His teams have advanced to postseason in 6 of their 7 years of eligibility. He said this is a mode where his team has got to get into a kill or get killed mode to win. He said Troy State has not been in a game like this all year long.
I thought Roger brought up a good point, Barry, in that this game will be determined for the most part in the trenches, and Troy State has had its problems with McNeese State across the front. Troy State has rushed for 100 yards or more as a team in 44 of its last 46 games, both times McNeese State the culprit at halting that streak.
And it is, as we mentioned, a Veterans Day weekend and largely a Veterans Day between these two schools. Not a lot of young players, a lot of guys who have been through the trenches, particularly on the line. For Troy State, their offensive line is senior laden. McNeese State, their offensive line goes senior, senior, sophomore, senior, senior. And there you see on the right of your screen over there, number 73 on that side. That is Wes Hines. He is their All-American guy. With Hines, number 73, and Roderick Cantu, number 62. Those are probably the 2 best linemen in the Southland Football League, and they love to run right behind those guys.
One of the big keys today, Barry, as well, turnover margin. McNeese State is -11 in turnover margin this year, while Troy State is +7. The Cowboys have had a tendency to turn the football over. If they can avoid that today, they've got a great shot at Troy State.
Tommy Tate, 44 years old, the 13th head coach at McNeese State, 20 years as an assistant in Lake Charles. He replaced Kirby Brockhaus at the end of last year. He played at McNeese State in the 1970s. He is in his first year as head coach of the Cowboys, and not really much of a changeover. 2 years ago, Bobby Kiesler led this team. Last year it was Kirby Brockhaus. This year, Tommy Tate. And you really can't read a lot into it because it's the same system, the same beliefs, the same core values in running a football team and offensive and defensive philosophies.
You're right, Barry, and I was talking with Larry Blakeney earlier this week about Tommy Tate, and he pretty much was the mandate of the McNeese State family, so to speak, to take over the job, and has done an excellent job thus far at 7-2. These guys are in great position, and one thing we'll discuss throughout the course of the telecast, the loser of this game is not eliminated from the playoffs, but certainly the winner has the inside track at taking the Southland Football League in the automatic bid that goes to the Sweet 16.
The line of thinking is these two schools, unless the bottom falls out, will make it to the playoffs. The only other school who legitimately, I think, has a chance from the SFL to make it is possibly Northwestern State, who stands at 6-3 overall and has 2 losses in the league. Charlie Hebert will kick it away for the Cowboys of McNeese. DeMontre and Jonathan Carter deep for Troy State, and we are underway. This is Jonathan Carter deep in his own end zone, and Troy State will put it in play 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Let's inspect the starting lineups as we take a look at the offensive line for Troy State. Charles Thomas, Brent Harrison, Blake Carruthers, Brent McAlilly are all seniors. Stan Currington is a sophomore at left tackle. DeMontre Carter and Thad Bouton are the tailbacks. The wideouts are Skipper and Jonathan Carter. The tight end is a good blocker, the young sophomore Adrian Moore. And the quarterback, Brock Nutter, in his 3rd year of running this football program out of Hoover, Alabama, has a line at many outstanding records at Troy State. In the first play is a toss sweep. It goes to Jonathan Carter with a lot of room in front of him. He's at the 30 with a lane at midfield. And saving the day is Gerard Jones, the cornerback. A well thought out play, and certainly very, very well executed. The defense for McNeese State: Jake Morrison, B.J. McNutt, Jerry Evans, the SMU transfer, and Franz Williams. The linebackers are very active: Brad Archie and Ben Duon. And the defensive backfield, you see Gerard Jones. He's a preseason All-American, and he just made the tackle right then to save the TD, Phil.
Larry Blakeney told me they were going to run a reverse off the sweep to the wide receiver if they had good field position on their first play. They had not run that play all season long.
36 yards on the double reverse, and there's Jonathan Carter again inside the 29-yard line. Bruce Bolden makes the stop, but not until a first down has been achieved, and late, a flag flies in. And it's a personal foul. Mark off 15 more yards against McNeese State.
Well, Southland Football League games involving both these teams have gotten out of hand at various points of the season because of extracurricular activities following the conclusion of a play. I am certain the Southland crew working this game is aware of that, and they are sending a message here early. They are going to get control of this football game.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, 15, first down.
Vance Duncan is our referee. 15-yard personal foul against McNeese State, and it did happen way after the play had concluded. 1st and 10 Trojans now at the McNeese State 15.
A couple of very good play calls early for Troy State.
They put 8 in the box, and that usually, Phil, almost always necessitates man-to-man coverage on the outside. And they've got it on the bottom of your screen. The delay to DeMontre Carter picks up about 3. Franz Williams, the defensive end, the 6'4" 207-pound senior out of Houston, takes care of DeMontre Carter. It'll be second down as we take a look at the Auburn transfer. DeMontre Carter, 1,030 all-purpose yards coming into this game. 5.8 yards per carry and 4 rushing touchdowns for DeMontre.
Part of a three-headed tandem for Troy State at tailback, along with LeBaron Black and Wayne Turner. They have over 1,300 yards between them.
The gain was 3. It's second down and 7. Another delay. DeMontre tries to move to the outside, but somebody had a hold on him right in the middle. Carter had a lane to the outside, but right at the bottom of the pile, you see Joseph Ramey, the defensive tackle, had grabbed DeMontre, and Carter could not go anywhere. It's third down.
A couple of big plays right there by the McNeese State defense. As we said earlier, they have absolutely refused to allow Troy State to run between the tackles over the course of this series, and thus far they are looking very strong in the interior again.
We are just now 2 minutes into this football game, and Troy State faces a possession play deep in Cowboy territory. Nutter from the shotgun, throws over the middle. It's that slant to Carter. He will be right at the first down marker before Hadley Prince, the strong safety, can wrestle him down. This will be close. I imagine he is just a little bit shy, and there's another example of the utilitarian aspect of DeMontre Carter. He can do a lot of things for you.
Well, he gives Troy State a breakaway threat, something they have sorely missed over the last few seasons, and that's the second time Brock Nutter has thrown underneath. That time McNeese State's Prince coming up to make the stop just shy of the first down. And I believe Troy State's going to go for it. No, I see Lawrence Tynes on the field, Barry. No, they are going to go for it.
Remember 3 weeks ago, Troy State had 2 fourth-down situations they went for and didn't get it against Northwestern State. They need about a yard, and they go to Bouton on their heavy backfield, and he gets to the 5-yard line, which is where I think he needed to get to. We'll take a look. Big Thad Bouton out of Atlanta, Georgia, a 250-pound senior, was stood up a little bit by Gerard Jones, who goes 181 pounds, and they may have gotten the push they needed to move the chains.
From this vantage point, it looks as if he did pick up the first down, but here's a good shot of Thaddeus Bouton using those big, powerful legs of his to drive onward and pick up the first down. Textbook tackle, actually, by Jones on that play, but not before Bouton picks up the first down.
Jones gave away nearly 70 pounds in that face-to-face matchup, and Tommy Tate's defense will now face a 1st and goal situation trying to stymie this Trojan offense.
This is a huge, huge possession for both teams. Troy State would love to send a message that they are going to move the football on McNeese State today. The Cowboys would love to hold them out.
High backfield motion man is Jonathan Carter. This is LeBaron Black, another tailback, and he loses the football into the end zone, and McNeese State will cover. How about that? The hit was by Brad Archie. There's Arthur Goodley with the fumble recovery, and Troy State comes up empty. Big hit by the linebacker Archie to force the fumble, and Arthur Goodley, the free safety, grabbed it. Let's take another look.
Outstanding play by the McNeese State defense. There you see the contact. One of the risks you run in using as many tailbacks as Troy State does is an exchange problem. That time, I don't believe LeBaron Black ever had complete control of that football, and thanks to the fine defensive play by Goodley, McNeese State's in business, and they hold the Trojans on that key first possession.
The tailback is Aaron Pierce, the third tailback. They'll fake to him and swing it to a wide open tight end. That's George Thompson. Derek Jackson, the left cornerback, makes the stop after a gain of 4. The McNeese State offense looks like this. Wes Hines, Brent Anderson, Jason Davis is a sophomore. Roderick Cantu and James Hardalick are all seniors. Trahan, Ostelet, Jimmy Redmond, Jermaine Martin, and George Thompson, who just got the reception. And the quarterback, Slade Nagel. His dad is just to the left of us in the coach's box. John Nagel is the running backs coach here at McNeese State. Nagel will give it away to Pierce with a lane close to the first down, and he will have it for McNeese State.
Back to that first drive for Troy State. Troy used one of their trick plays, as I mentioned earlier. We'll go to the starting lineups, and I'll finish that point there.
Starting lineup defensively for Troy State. Along the front, it's Betts, Williams, Umanyora, and Vernon Marable. The linebackers are very athletic. Colbert, Nazir Yamini has been outstanding, and Jimmy McClain. David Philyaw and Derek Jackson are the corners. Antonio Thompson and Archie are the safeties. Those corners are playing because of injuries to several of the other defensive backs Troy State has used this year. Delay give. This is Pierce, and Pierce gains a couple on first down. The initial play from Troy State you were alluding to.
As I was mentioning, I visited with Coach Blakeney before the game, asked if there were any unusual wrinkles that his team might employ. He told me we will use the reverse to the wide receiver off the sweep early. Troy State, in effect, showed their hand with that trick play, and because of the turnover near the goal line, they wind up getting no points out of it. So, in effect, that really is a damaging blow for the game plan. You show them one of your wrinkles, yet don't get anything out of it.
After the gain of 2, it's 2nd and 8 for McNeese, and from the shotgun the give is to Pierce, and Pierce skitters across the 40. That's another first down. Antonio Thompson squeezed. The strong safety puts a stopper on him. There you see Aaron Pierce, 5'7", 169. And he has gotten the bulk of the carries in the last couple of games. This is his second start since the loss of Jesse Burton. And they take a chance using him, a small guy as he is, because McNeese State's offense, a lot of it is running between those big tackles.
Well, Pierce is amazingly durable for his size, as you mentioned, getting the bulk of the load. 40 carries a week ago in the McNeese State victory.
He'll get the pitch here on the misdirection give, and he has another first down. On the far boundary, Chris Archie knocks him down.
Here's another look at it. Pierce is elusive, as you see here, as he makes one would-be Troy State tackler miss here, running past Philyaw and then getting the better of it against Archie before he's finally knocked out of bounds. But Pierce is a tough runner, and not only elusive, but for his size, extremely powerful as well, as you've seen him break tackles already today.
Yeah, those 40 carries he got last week in the rain in the win against Southwest Texas was only 6 shy of the school record. He gets the call again here, and again gets more room. Actually, this is Marcus Trahan, the number 2 tailback. Antonio Thompson makes the stop on Trahan, the sophomore out of Sulphur, Louisiana, who missed last week because of a bad hamstring. There you see him kind of favoring that hamstring, and if he can't go after losing Burton already, they would probably have to go with Al Smith, who is a senior but has just been a squad player throughout his career at McNeese.
Pierce actually the 3rd team tailback for McNeese State, and certainly has given a great account of himself to be that far down the depth chart just a couple of weeks ago.
On second down, he gets past the initial line of defense. Nazir Yamini, the middle linebacker, who is playing with a bit of a thigh injury himself. makes the tackle for the Trojans.
Troy State linebackers have been outstanding this year. You mentioned Yamini. There's a good shot of him. And also last week's Southland Football League and National Division I AA Defensive Player of the Week, Jimmy McLean, who came up with a key interception in the 6-0 win over Stephen F. Austin. Big play here, perhaps a possession down for McNeese.
McNeese State needs the 36. They scrimmage from the 38 on third down, and Nagel wants to throw on the run, throws behind his receiver, but coming back to get it is Jermaine Martin, the junior out of Lafayette, Louisiana, for a first down catch. #1 receiver on this team. Here's his 35th reception of the year, Phil.
Very difficult to defend this play. It's a simple little out pattern of about 4 or 5 yards. There you see Phil Yaw closing on the play, but not before Martin pulled the pass in. These are smallish type receivers, as you see. Martin just 5'6", 145, but they are skittery. They're very difficult to cover, and Nagel does a good job of finding them.
Another first down for McNeese at the 34-yard line, and Nagel wants to throw again over the middle, throws over Jimmy Redmond. Chris Archie lays a lick on the ribs of Redmond. Davern Williams provides the rush against Nagel.
That's a good aggressive play in the secondary by Archie. Many times you see the ball up for grabs like that, and the secondary member not be as aggressive as he should be, going after the ball, and there you see Archie attacking the receiver and driving through and knocking the football loose. Nice play by Chris Archie.
Archie is a senior, got beaten out for the strong safety position, free safety position by Travis Bozeman, who saw his career end with a spinal condition. On second down, here's Pierce. Negligible yardage, maybe 1, maybe 2, but Tony Ford, who is also questionable for this game because of a knee injury he suffered against Stephen F. Austin, makes a big play.
That's the first time Troy State was able to hold McNeese State on first down and create a second and long situation. A lot of times, Barry, you'll hear the fans encourage the coach to throw on first down. The risk being, if it's an incompletion, you've got second and long, and now McNeese State, after that short gain, faces a third and long situation.
3rd and 9, as you see on the screen. Nagel from the shotgun. The little Utah pass to Ostelet, and Ostelet is close. Let's check that. That's the fullback, Luke Lawton, the #2 fullback. Lawton, a redshirt freshman out of Lafayette, Louisiana, on the old Utah pass.
A great call by the McNeese State coaching staff there as they caught Troy State in a stunt. You'll see the defensive lineman here, the inside guy, looping out. And there's a good shot at it, and they have overrun the play. Nick Colbert on the blitz there, #9 you see in your picture. Troy State loves to blitz in 3rd and long situations. McNeese State scouted them well, knew it, and executed the Utah pass to perfection. Keeps this drive alive.
At the 23-yard line, Troy State got the opening kick, drove it down inside McNeese State's 10-yard line, but a LeBaron Black fumble into the end zone. Came up empty on the Troy State drive. Here's Aaron Pierce, moving the pile a little bit for a 170-pound guy. Gets a couple to the 21-yard line. Vernon Marable, you see him there, the junior out of Ashland, Alabama. Troy State's left defensive end makes the hit.
Barry, one of the reasons Troy State's linebackers have been winning national awards for their performances is because in this system, the defensive linemen are designed to knock out the interference, take care of the blockers, let the linebackers make the tackle, and Troy State's down linemen have been outstanding over the years.
Quick give goes to the wide receiver, going around. Great play by Antonio Thompson to snuff out the end around to Jermaine Martin. Martin was the motion man, and Antonio Thompson, the most experienced by far guy in that secondary, knew it from the get-go.
Well, he's become the leader of this Troy State secondary. This is one of the reasons why he is perhaps the best open field tackler on the team, and he showed those abilities right there, coming up and closing on the ball carrier.
McNeese State 2 of 2 in this drive in 3rd down conversions. They face a 3rd and 7 here right at the 20-yard line. Nagel throws out to his tight end Thompson, and there's David Filyaw to shove him out of bounds, well shy of where he needed to get. They threw the underneath route to Thompson, the tight end, and Filyaw, playing over that right cornerback position, was right where he needed to be.
Well, that's one of the favorite plays of the McNeese State offense, and David Filyaw sniffed that play. He sensed it before it ever developed and was all over the tight end and knocked him out of bounds. That is a long, long drive for McNeese State. This is the 14th snap, Barry.
Charlie Hebert from 37 yards. Hebert is 9 of 17 in field goals this year. And this one is wide. He is 9 of 18 now. They have had problems in field goal kicking this year. Hebert has been erratic. And both teams look impressive, Phil, on their opening drives. But both teams have come up empty. Beautiful afternoon in Troy. 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and we are scoreless.
We've never seen anything like it.
Let's take a look.
Ouch. This man seems to be experiencing chronic stabs of pain. We believe it's work-related.
What does he do?
Works for a wireless company.
US Unwired?
No, the other guys.
Who?
With PCS service on the only all-digital nationwide network and the region's best cellular coverage, we kind of like sticking it to the competition. US Unwired. We've got you covered.
At Boise Cascade, we see the forest for the trees. Trees that are used to build our homes and bring us the news of the world. Forests we renew by planting 6 trees for every one we harvest. Forests that provide natural shelter for Louisiana's wildlife. With our vision, together we'll grow well into the future, just like the forest we oversee. Boise Cascade, products you use from the environment we protect.
Watch College Sports Southeast Friday nights at 6:30 for College Sports Central Special Edition featuring CSSE football analyst and former national championship head football coach Gene Stallings. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. Sun-swept afternoon in southern Alabama. Scoreless here between McNeese and Troy. Barry McKnight, Phil Paramore, Roger Schultz on the sidelines as we anticipate Troy's second offensive possession early on here. Nutter has time, now flushed out, down he goes. Had enough time to get it out there, but Jerry Evans was coming hard.
No blitz, no stunt there. That's just outstanding play by Jerry Evans, the big 270-pounder who just overran the Troy State blockers. And Brock Nutter probably, if he had this to do over again, would have either thrown this ball away or found a safety valve receiver. He had time, but the pocket finally broke down on him thanks to Evans. Outstanding play by him.
Evans transferred in from SMU. Had some knee surgery in the spring. 100% right now, though. The loss for Troy is 12. Back to the 8. Nutter with a quick in pattern, and Jonathan Carter will lose yardage. Just that quick little drag route, and there you see Hadley Prince. Champion rodeo performer is Hadley Prince, a sophomore from Sulphur, Louisiana. He is also, at strong safety, the team's leading tackler.
Well, he looked like a Bronco rider there as he stepped up and made the play, anticipating the wide receiver screen that Troy State tried to execute. They've got to be extremely careful with the football here deep in their own territory, facing a 3rd and 23 situation.
From the shotgun, motion along the front by McNeese, and there's a flag down. Nutter will throw from his end zone. He finds his receiver over there. Almost dropping it was Tommy Vennessy. Gerard Jones came up in coverage. The pickup is to the 21-yard line, well shy of the first down, but we'll check the flag.
An injured player down for Troy State as well. Looks like one of the offensive linemen, maybe Brent Harrison.
It is Harrison. 250-pound senior. He is a native of Enterprise, just down the road, and he is prone on the ground. As Harrison is being tended to, let's take a break. 3:16 in the first, scoreless between Troy and McNeese.
With over 3,000 procedures and 350 open-heart surgeries done last year alone, we provide our region a special place. one that puts patients' hearts in highly experienced hands. Christus St. Patrick Hospital Heart Center, once again, one of the nation's 100 top hospitals for cardiac care.
It's happening everywhere in South Louisiana, because everyone knows September is your final chance for a 2000 Toyota. Hurry to your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team and get final clearance financing on every 2000 Tundra. Full-size Tundra, now with low 2.9 financing. Tundra, faster than Chevy Silverado, more payload than Ford's F-150. Now with low 2.9 financing. Everyone, everywhere knows it's final clearance at your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team.
College Sports Southeast is looking for an exciting year of live basketball. CSSC will broadcast more than 85 live basketball games and replay more than 100 contests. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports.
Troy State, by the way, about to open the season at Alabama.
That's right, in basketball, about a week from now. The McNeese State defense has done an outstanding job on this exchange here. Tommy Tate is well known as a defensive coach. Stoppage in play here is because of the injury to Troy State right guard Brent Harrison. It looks like his right knee, and they're bringing out the cart.
A sad ending indeed for the career of Brent Harrison, who has been just a tremendous performer for Troy State down through the years. A senior, thought he had his career ended earlier, Barry, with some other health problems involving an irregular heartbeat, but he was eventually cleared to play. He has also had a concussion in the past, and it looks as if this is a relatively serious leg injury. Is being helped onto a stretcher.
That's right. Before the Northwestern State game, he missed some practice time, was diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat. They cleared him to play then, and he has played well. One of the seniors on this team. Let's take a look at the replay of this one and see if we can find out where the injury might have happened. Harrison is number 69 on the right of your screen.
Oftentimes you'll see a lineman have his knee rolled here. Someone will roll up. There it is right there. It looks as if he was leg whipped. I don't know if that's where the injury happened. There it is. He is in fact rolled underneath from behind. Never sees what hits him, and oftentimes that's how you see those linemen suffer debilitating knee injuries.
You know, they pulled Charles Thomas behind him, the right tackle, and I thought maybe it had been because he had caught that knee, but you're right, rolled right up the back, and you can see the pain on the face of Brent Harrison, frustration as well.
And the sad realization that his career is likely over.
Well, the penalty earlier was against McNeese State. It was declined. Troy State took the pass completion, and Matt Allen will kick it away deep to Marcus Turner on 4th down.
One of the best kicking games in the country Troy State possesses. Matt Allen may have perhaps a future as a professional punter.
A high short kick. Turner will call for the fair catch near the 42-yard line. So Troy State and McNeese State trading blows here early. Nothing has been decided yet. 2 minutes and 52 seconds in the first quarter. Still no score. McNeese State and Troy State.
Precision Prints, you'll get one-on-one. We care. You matter. Personal service every single time. As hometown owners, we're on a first-name basis with most of our customers because they're friends instead of faces. Precision Prints has furnished them with sporting apparel and equipment, custom printing, and local team accessories for years. Come into Precision Prints and make band equipment and accessories. Precision Prints, Sulphur.
Hello, I'm Gary Carrier from Carrier's Jewelers, and welcome to Antwerp, Belgium, the heart of the diamond industry.
Buying diamonds directly from Antwerp gives Carrier's Jewelers the ability to handpick from some of the world's best diamond inventories. We are so confident our solitaire diamonds are the best that we protect them against loss, theft, or damage with our eternal diamond guarantee. We also offer a lifetime dollar-for-dollar exchange. Stop by Carrier's Jewelers in Sulphur today.
Get the latest college sports news anywhere from College Sports Southeast. Located on the web at collegesportscentral.com. It's the best college sports website absolutely anywhere. Scoreless here in the first. The Trojan mascot has not had a great deal to charge up and down the sidelines about to this point. 38-yard punt by Allen, and McNeese State will have it 1st and 10. Nagel gives away to Aaron Peace, who has had a productive day so far, and before Troy State defenders can get to him, he negotiates near midfield. Vernon Marable was the tackler for Troy as we look again.
Pierce has the knack that all the great backs do. When you think that you've got him stopped, he still finds a way to generate 4 or 5 yards there. Almost lost possession as he squirmed forward, but it looked as if Troy State had that play stopped. Pierce turns it into what's the better part of a 7-yard gain.
2nd down, 4 to go. Pierce across midfield. Osiu Manura with the tackle. McNeese State is playing without their all-star tailback. Jesse Burton hurt his knee versus Northwestern State. He's the 6th leading rusher in McNeese history, and he is done for the year. All Aaron Pierce, the 170-pound sophomore out of New Orleans, has done. Run for 106 yards last week. Off the bench, 133 yards rushing against Sam Houston State 2 weeks ago. Tommy Tate sees his team on 3rd and short, and Pierce gets the call. Pierce gets the 1st down. They're opening up some big holes for him. He's a little guy, not real tall, and behind guys like Hines and Anderson and Cantu and Hartelick, all of whom are at least 6'3", he just seems to appear out of nowhere.
That's excellent execution on the option play that time. Nagel actually pitched the ball left-handed, and he is a right-handed quarterback, as you have seen. Good connection with Pierce on the pitch, and they're one of the few teams that's been able to exploit the option play to any success at all against Troy State thus far.
Play action. Nagel will throw. Got a man wide open at the 29-yard line. Looking for help over there is Derek Jackson, as Jimmy Redmond, the Ohio State transfer, gets it inside the 20. But a flag as the play goes downfield will be whistled against Troy State for roughing the passer. There's Redmond, the number 2 receiver on the squad. We'll check the flag. It is roughing the passer. Vance Duncan. Let's get the official call before we check in with Roger Schultz on the sidelines.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
1st down, McNeese State. Roger Schultz, let's check in with you on the sidelines.
I tell you what, it's interesting. You know, Troy State's wanting to throw the ball on 1st down. They're not getting it. They had that 3rd long. They didn't take the penalty. Everybody's kind of wondering what's happening there. But Blakey told Brock Nutter, hey, I don't care what it is. We're going to punt.
Wow. Doesn't matter. Well, Slade Nagel and the McNeese State offense knocking at the door again. Big play by Tim Betts. Great penetration, and another flag comes in as Betts will chase down the little tailback all the way from that defensive end position. Tim Betts' game is predicated on speed, Phil.
Good play by Tim Betts, but it's going to be negated because of a face mask infraction against Troy State, it appears. The field judge came tossing that flag in from about 15 yards away, but he threw it with an awful lot of authority, obviously certain as to what he saw, and he determined that it was
defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 1st down.
You know, Troy State came in defensively, giving up just 85 yards rushing per game. That's number 4 nationally. So far, the McNeese State rush offense, 58 yards rushing. Nagel has had a good day throwing the football so far. Aaron Pierce has 51 yards rushing. This is the big fullback. That's Darren Ostelet, and Ostelet goes for a couple right into the teeth of that Trojan defense. Byron Knight, the reserve nose tackle, and the weak side linebacker Jimmy McLean come up to stop Darren Ostelet.
We heard Roger Schultz in the open talk about the battle of the trenches here, and right now McNeese State is winning that one, especially on the offensive side of the football. That big 307-pound average offensive line blowing Troy State off the football right now.
In the final half minute of the 1st quarter, it is 2nd down and goal from just outside the 2. Here's the big package for the Cowboys. Pierce disappears in and is thrown backwards. You lose him a bit going into that sea of Cardinal, but then you see him getting thrown back by Tim Betts, that senior out of Pensacola, Florida. So, McNeese State on the edge of drawing first blood in this football game as the first quarter has expired. We go to the second quarter here on a beautiful afternoon in Troy, Alabama. McNeese State and Troy State still tied at 0.
Advanced Rehab Services, 3212 2nd Avenue in Lake Charles, offers comprehensive physical and occupational therapy for orthopedic, neurological, and sports injuries and pain management due to injury or arthritis. The professional staff offers personal attention and support using state-of-the-art equipment for computerized treatment and evaluation. Their aquatic therapy features the SwimX therapeutic pool. Advanced Rehab Services for functional capacity evaluations and physical, occupational, industrial, and aquatic therapy. Call 478-8161.
We've never seen anything like it.
Let's take a look.
This man seems to be experiencing chronic stabs of pain. We believe it's work-related.
What does he do?
Works for a wireless company.
US Unwired?
No, the other guys.
Who?
With PCS service on the only all-digital nationwide network and the region's best cellular coverage, we kind of like sticking it to the competition. US Unwired. We've got you covered.
Goodyear, one of the largest selling tires in America today. Right now, your nearby Pompelli Auto Center is having a huge end-of-the-year Goodyear clearance sale, and you can put Goodyears on your car for as low as $19.95. That's right, only $19.95, and all sizes are similarly priced during this year-end event. So come into Pompelli's Auto Center and get that Goodyear peace of mind.
Right now, come to your nearby Pompelli Auto Center and get a full tire rotation and computer wheel balancing, only $14.95. Another great service special from Pompelli Auto Centers, Lake Charles, and Sulphur.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Hi, I'm KVHP Sports Director Joe Capuano. You're watching the McNeese State Cowboys right here on Fox 29.
Then a knee, and he will not be back. Situation is this: we are scoreless as we begin the second quarter. McNeese State faces a third down and goal from the 2-yard line. McNeese State has scored the last 16 times they have had the ball in the opponent's red zone. Here's a big third down play. They'll throw a fade to the end zone. A lot of contact over there between Derek Jackson and Jimmy Redmond. No flag. They throw that little fade route, and Derek Jackson out of Gainesville, Florida, makes the play.
Excellent coverage by Jackson on that play, but you're right, there was some contact. Both players looked as if they momentarily lost their footing there. You see Jackson fall and McNeese State's Redmond fall over him. So some contact, but no call, and McNeese State on now to try a field goal as Abear will look what appears to be about a 29-yarder.
19-yarder from Abear, and it is good. Abear missed a 37-yarder earlier. He hits from 19 here. It comes on the second play of the second quarter here, and Abear has given McNeese State the first lead of this football game. Cowboys 3-0 over the Trojans.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
We manage over 700,000 acres of timberland in Louisiana alone.
Dan Morrow, forester for Boise Cascade.
Through an intensive genetics program, we combine superior parents to produce genetically superior forests. This means faster growing, higher quality forests that are more resistant to disease. One of the many ways Boise Cascade is managing its business for future generations.
Boise Cascade, providing the products you use, protecting the environment we share.
Watch College Sports Southeast Friday nights at 6:30 for College Sports Central Special Edition, featuring CSSC football analyst and former national championship head football coach Gene Stallings. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. McNeese State 3-0 on Hebert's 19-yard field goal, capping a pretty good drive. McNeese State has gotten some offense going. 104 yards offense for McNeese State. Troy State has mustered but 64 to this point.
Barry, you and I were talking during commercial breaks. We've worked games between these two schools and not seen this much offense in 4 quarters.
Hebert will kick it away to DeMontre and Jonathan Carter. This will be Jonathan Carter at the 5-yard line. He has a touchdown return already this year, averaging 30 yards a return. That one's only 15 there before Joe Judge got to him. We mentioned the scoring play. Hebert 1 of 2, 19 yards. He also missed in the first quarter from 37 yards, and the McNeese State fans have come down in pretty good numbers. About a 500-mile trip from Lake Charles, Louisiana to Troy, and they're here.
If you've ever driven it, it seems much further than that.
Well, Nutter and the Troy State offense have had opportunities. Their last possession was hampered by a sack, but Nutter so far 4 of 4 throwing the football. On 1st and 10, that 8-man front. Nutter rolls, finds his man. That's Jonathan Carter again. His reception gains him to the 35-yard line. Arthur Goodley, the free safety, and the cornerback Gerard Jones make the tackle for Jonathan Carter. That's his 3rd catch.
What you will not see in tomorrow's box score is the block right here by DeMontre Carter, which allows Nutter to get outside the containment and find Carter. Find Jonathan Carter. If DeMontre does not make that block on Jake Morrison, the outstanding defensive end for McNeese State, that play never gets off the ground.
Great replay from the guys, and that's exactly right. Nutter has not missed yet. Right at the 35-yard line. And around, this is DeMontre Carter. Nice move to gain a little extra yardage. Still has his feet underneath him to the 39-yard line. Arthur Goodley comes up from free safety. There you get to see a little bit of the potential, a little of the elusiveness of DeMontre Carter.
This was a parade All-American in high school and was recruited by practically everybody in the nation. In fact, Terry Bowden won a hotly contested battle against his father, Bobby, for DeMontre's services. Things didn't pan out for him at Auburn, and he wound up coming to Troy State during the last summer, enrolled, became immediately eligible, and as you saw, has averaged over 6 yards or nearly 6 yards a carry.
By the way, with Harrison out, they have moved the number 2 center Rodney Jordan over to right guard. He is in there right now for Troy State. A little bit too much mustard for DeMontre that time. Not sure there was a great deal of potential anyway, because the linebacker Brad Archie was bearing down on DeMontre Carter.
Well, Brock Nutter was looking for Jonathan Carter that time, trying to find him deep. Unable to do so, checked off to DeMontre, his safety valve, but actually threw the ball behind him, and as you mentioned, had too much on the ball from a velocity standpoint to allow Nutter to complete the pass.
3rd down for Troy State and 6 to go. The Trojans are 0-2 on 3rd down conversions in this game, but 1 of 1 in 4th down conversions. The Trojans need to get to the 45.
McNeese is showing blitz by the linebackers. Here they come in the gap. Now they're going to drop back, it looks.
Here they come. Nutter releases quickly, tries to thread the needle to Daniel O'Brien. Arthur Goodley, there you see him. The free safety was there, and it's 4th down.
That's a big hold by the McNeese State defense there as Troy State forced to punt the football. And as you look at the time of possession already, McNeese State with a nearly 2-to-1 advantage, 9 minutes and 50 seconds to just 5 minutes and 19 seconds for Troy State. And as we've already noted, this is a big, powerful, physical offensive front for McNeese State, one that will wear you down if it can continue to hold on to the football.
Marcus Turner is deep, averaging 6 yards a punt return, and a poor kick by Matt Allen. Off the side of his foot, out of bounds at the 28-yard line. That's a 34-yard kick for Matt Allen, who has had a 59-yarder at one point this season.
He didn't get the first one to turn over, only 38 yards on his first kick, and that time I don't know if he was aiming for one of the corners or simply shanked the ball off the side of his foot, but as you noted, that one only 34, so McNeese State gets the ball in decent field position again.
McNeese has won the last 3 meetings versus Troy State. 3 wins in 5 games in Troy. Play action, Nagel will roll. Releases to his fullback. That's Luke Lawton, the number 2 guy, to the 34-yard line, where it'll be second down. Lawton does have good hands. They put him in there because of his pass catching ability. He's a redshirt freshman out of Lafayette. Had a touchdown run last week in the game against Southwest Texas.
Back to the Troy State offensive woes. The longer McNeese State is able to hold Troy State, the more frustrated this Trojan team becomes. We'll finish that point after this play.
It's second down and 5. Aaron Pierce, still more yardage. First down for Aaron Pierce, who came in averaging 5.1 yards per carry before that carry. And he picks up the first down to the 44-yard line, Phil.
Back to McNeese State's defensive dominance. Troy has been held under 10 points since Larry Blakeney's arrival. He's been here a decade now. Only 5 times have they been held under 10 points. McNeese State has turned that trick 3 of the 5 times.
You see Brock Nutter exhorting his defense on 1st and 10, just shy of the 45. Again, Pierce again, good yardage. Across the 50, give him about 6 before Jimmy McClain. How about this? Troy State has been held under 100 yards rushing just twice since the start of the 1997 season. McNeese State did it both times, in 1997, in the rain here, and last year.
And the longer that string goes, the more Troy State wonders, can it move the football successfully against this Cowboy defense?
Vernon Marable, the defensive end, out for Troy with a hand injury, evidently. Here's a nice surge from the Trojan defense on second down. They stack up. Aaron Pierce, maybe a loss of a couple, depending on where they spot it. Looks like back across the 50-yard line. Antonio Thompson, an excellent run stuffer, comes up from safety.
Visiting with some of the McNeese State officials before the game started. There you get a look at Pierce's numbers. Already 65 yards here, and we're at the 11-minute mark in the second quarter. But McNeese State officials say this is not a fancy offense. They want to run between the tackles, and nobody, including Miami, stopped them on the ground.
Nagel from the shotgun on third down, releases to Lawton. Great play. Derek Jackson, the left cornerback, the sophomore out of Gainesville, Florida, playing with a bad shoulder, makes an excellent open field tackle on the fullback.
One of those Troy State corners that has been forced into action because of the injuries, as you mentioned. A couple of starters missing from the Trojan secondary, and Jackson read this play beautifully and knocked the big tight end off his feet as Lawton unable to turn upfield at all, and an excellent play by Jackson.
He'll move back into punt cover. The deep man for Troy State is Hayward Skipper to get Latta's left-footed kick. He'll call for a fair catch, and it'll roll dead near the 20-yard line. 10 minutes, 2 seconds until halftime. A lot of offense so far, not a lot of scoring. 3-0 Cowboys.
It doesn't get any better than this. Don Shetler Ford has unheard of rebates for a limited time. Get $500 back on the 2000 Mustang GTs, $1,000 back on the 2000 Mustang LX, $2,000 on the 2000 Crown Victoria, $2,000 on the 2000 Ford Rangers, and a 0.9% interest rate for 60 months on the 2000 Explorers, Expeditions, and Excursions. Huge savings like this can't last long, so get them while you can. Save thousands right now at the Big Truck Center of Southwest Louisiana. Don Shetler Ford in Sulphur, the dealership built on customer service.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank. McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
at College Sports Southeast, we are really looking forward to an exciting year of live basketball. CSSC will broadcast more than 85 live basketball games. Will replay more than 100. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. If it's on campus, we're going to cover it. Here at McNeese State 3, Troy State nothing, and the Trojan offense has had their moments. It's not as though they've been exactly stuffed, but they've been held scoreless so far, and last week only got a couple of field goals, as you mentioned, in that crucial road win. The offense has been quiet. Here's LeBaron Black, had the costly fumble in the first quarter into the end zone. You see Ryan Garrison, the linebacker, a redshirt freshman. Brock Nutter has started every game since his redshirt freshman year. He is 25-8 as a starter. Had an interception last week at Stephen F. Austin. It broke a career-high 108 pass streak that Nutter had been on where he had not thrown an interception. The delay give, LeBaron Black. Boy, nice hit by Joe Judge on a penalty play. To about the 22-yard line goes Black. Looked like it was destined for even more, but Judge laid a pretty good lick on the young sophomore tailback. And it's an encroachment. The call goes against McNeese State.
And even though that's only a 5-yard penalty, Barry, it's going to set up a second and short situation for Troy State instead of a third and what would have been 5 or 6.
Offsides, defense, 5 yards, still second down.
There you see Larry Blakeney, a guy who again has advanced to postseason in 6 of the 7 years that his teams have been eligible at Troy State, and he's the first to admit his team's nemesis in the regular season has been McNeese State. This one means a lot to him, you can imagine. Trojans need 2 on second down. Pump fake, they'll go for all of it. Jonathan Carter has it knocked away by Gerard Jones at the last minute. If Nutter had been able to get it there, Jonathan may have had a step, Phil.
They had been setting that play up with the out pattern earlier in the football game, and a good job by Nutter of pump faking, and for just a moment, Jones bid on the fake. There you see some separation between Jonathan Carter, but he has to wait on the ball, and that gives Jones time to catch up and knock the ball away. He used the sideline as his ally as well. That one hung just a bit on Brock Nutter, though here in the second quarter, Troy State has what is kicked up to be a relatively significant win.
I think that's the first incompletion for Nutter in this game. On third down, this is Black. He needs to get across to 25, and he does. That's a first down.
That's what that offsides penalty does for you right there. It allowed Troy State to take a chance on a long pass with a second and short situation, confident they could come back on a third and short and pick up the first down. And here you see the Troy State offensive line moving a hole out. Brent McAlity, was that him back in the game? No, couldn't have been with the ankle injury. It looked like it may have been Jordan who pulled out there and knocked the McNeese State defender.
It was
out
Jordan,
of the way.
55. You're right.
Jordan's a big 300-pounder in his own right.
Yeah, he's out of Goshen, just down the road here. 3-0. A big first down for Troy State to get out of the shadows of their own goalposts. The motion man is Chad Lucas, a freshman. They'll go to Haywood Skipper, and just a bit too long for him at the 40. That little slant.
Well, Nutter drops back here and has time to deliver this football. It just goes right through the arms of Skipper, a ball I'm sure he feels like he should have caught, but had to leave his feet to get to it. Just a split second off on the timing there, and it sets up that dreaded second and long situation for Troy State.
2nd and 10 from the 28-yard line. Tailback is Black. Bouton, the fullback. And they'll give it to LeBaron Black on second down. 31-yard line maybe. Ryan Garrison, the linebacker.
Well, what a great job McNeese State does of closing the hole. It looked that time as if LeBaron Black was going to have plenty of running room. You get a good shot there of McNeese linebacker Garrison, but this is a quick defense, especially at the linebacker position, and they really close to the football.
That's what Larry Blakeney said on Monday. He said what has made these teams so great has been the defense. They're going to put 8 in the block, you know that, in the box, and you know they're going to be coming after your behind on every play, to use his rather colorful expression there. Every play, they are coming at you.
Triple wideouts to one side.
Right at the bottom of your screen. On 3rd down and about 7. Nutter has time, throws over the middle, knocked away. Contact over there at the 42-yard line. The crowd wants the call to go against Bruce Bolden, the cornerback. Hayward Skipper had maybe a half step on him, but Bolden got that hand in there, and it's 4th down. This will come right to your laps.
Good job again by Troy State picking up the blitz. There you see Bouton knock Garrison down, and here's the great defensive play by Bolden from that angle. It looked clean, a good, solid, aggressive play by the secondary of McNeese, and they hold Troy yet again.
3rd punt for Matt Allen. His first 2 have not been outstanding, averaging just a little less than 36 yards on his first 2 attempts. This is much, much better. Back goes Turner to his 13-yard line. And he skitters and loses yardage. Out in the open field, Troy State's number 83, Jonathan Tomlin, the sophomore out of Auburn, Alabama. Knocks him on his feet, off his feet.
I had just mentioned the wind had kicked up here, Barry, and that time Matt Allen got one up in what looks to be a relatively stiff breeze, booms it down there, and Turner never really had a chance as the outstanding play made there by Tomlin.
56 yards on the kick by Matt Allen. And McNeese will set up shop 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line.
What a huge turnaround field position-wise.
And this game may come down to something as obscure as field position. Here's the tailback. That again is Aaron Pierce. Osi Umenyiora, also like Tomlin, out of Auburn, Alabama, the nose tackle, supplies the tackle for Troy.
Well, McNeese State continues to get a good line surge on 1st down, especially between the guard center. Right in the middle, the heart of the Troy State defense. You get a good look there at the Troy State nose guard, Osi Umenyiora, but at this point, the Trojans are losing that battle, at least temporarily.
2nd and 5. Redmond has it skip off his fingertips as Thompson closed quickly. Well, you mentioned the center guard superiority so far for McNeese. Well, the guards for the Cowboys go 311 and 300. That's Cantu and Anderson. The center, Jason Davis, goes 326. Slade Nagel has had some good numbers this year. One of the big reasons why, you and I talked about it briefly before the telecast, that offensive line has only given up 3 sacks all year long. The defense has gotten 31.
That is an amazing statistic.
Big 3rd down play. 5 to get for the Cowboys. Plenty of time. Releases over the middle. Is it intercepted? No. Nazir Yamini almost picked it up off of the turf as it skipped off the fingertips of Pierce right between the hash marks.
When you look at how well McNeese State protects the passer, and as you aptly pointed out, only 3 sacks all year long and over 250 passing attempts, it is almost a lost effort to try and blitz this team. As you see them bunched up there, Troy State drops back their linebackers into pass coverage there. It's going to be extremely difficult to get to Slade Nagel.
David Latta, the junior from Leesville, Louisiana, the Southland Football League Special Teams Player of the Week this week. End over end kick. Coming up is Skipper on the full run, loses his footing at the 42-yard line. By far the best field position the Troy State offense will have enjoyed to this point of this football game. 6 minutes and 33 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. McNeese State continues to lead on the strength of a Charlie Hebert 19-yard field goal, and the Trojan offense has been held without a touchdown for quite a while now.
Troy State winning the battle of field position on the exchange of punts there. That is how subtle the kicking game can be in the overall ebb and flow of a game, but Troy State gaining an advantage there.
Nutter loads up the shotgun, Flushed out, hit from behind, down at the 49-yard line. It was Jerry Evans, the tackle. That's his second sack of the afternoon. They're having a tough time. McAlilly over that left guard, and Carruthers having a tough time with him.
But again, Barry, time to deliver the football initially, and the Troy State coaches instruct Brock Nutter, drop back, take a look for 3 seconds. If you don't see anybody, throw it away. That time he may have held the ball a little bit too long, did not feel the pressure by Evans, and the Galveston, Texas native made him pay with a big loss on first down, negates some of that positive field position.
They'll move Evans to the other side of the line against Jordan now as Nutter again looks to throw. Downfield, got a man, Jonathan Carter out of bounds. Same type of a play we had seen earlier that went incomplete. This one was timed well, but just ran out of acreage over there.
Had a good matchup that time with Jonathan Carter against Hadley Prince, and it looks as if Carter can take him deep. He's been behind him twice already in this football game, but Troy's been unable to connect on that play, and now this is a huge third and long situation Troy State, which they had just moments ago.
Troy State on the season, just 31% efficiency on third down. They are 1 of 5 today. They need 18. He's got the time. Throws complete. No! Off the fingertips. Tommy Vennessy was right there. Bounced off his hands, bounced off his face gear, and harmlessly to the turf, and it's 4th down.
Would have been well shy of a first down, however, would have still set up a 4th and 10 situation and a punting situation for Troy State. Actually, Matt Allen may have more room to work with here. If the Trojans were unable to convert that third down situation, perhaps the incompletion was better.
Allen is a senior. Tries to pin Turner deep. It bounces into the end zone, and McNeese State will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line when we come back. A beautiful afternoon for football, but McNeese State in a defensive battle leads Troy 3-0.
Happiness is owning a new or used car or truck from All-Star in Sulphur. Not just because of the great purchase price, but because of the speedy, excellent service that makes owning a car or truck from All-Star a pleasant experience. And now All-Star offers its all-new 16,000 square foot paint and body shop equipped with 2 extended state-of-the-art paint booths and frame machines. Located on 2 acres on North Douglas Parkway, All-Star is able to repair any make or model, including motorhomes and 18-wheelers. For your free estimate, come see us at All-Star Pontiac GMC Truck in Sulphur.
Don't miss the most in-depth college sports news show on television nightly at 6:30. It's College Sports Central, only on College Sports Southeast. If you want to know more about CSSE, log on collegesportscentral.com or 205-425-6935. There you see graduate student Wes Hines, an All-American and one of the top students in the country as well. $18,000 Collegiate Hall of Fame scholarship all ready for him to finance his graduate studies, and a great, great football player too. He just pancaked Tim Betts, but they ran the opposite way on first down, and Pierce gets maybe a half yard. Wes Hines, Sports Network has him rated as one of the top offensive tackles in 1AA. He is a graduate in finance, and he is McNeese State's Male Student Athlete of the Year for each of the last 2 years. 48 straight starts, Phil, counting this one this afternoon.
Well, the consummate student athlete, Wes Hines, and good to see him be rewarded for his work in the classroom as well as between the white lines.
Yeah, the $18,000 Collegiate Hall of Fame scholarship, and that helps. Oh, Pierce looked like he tried to reverse his field, and if feet come flying out from under him, he'll lose yardage back to the 19, and it's 3rd and long.
Well, you hate to place any blame on the Trojan horse, Barry, but that is the particular area in the field in which the horse was running up and down the field as the band played, and we watched as one of the grounds crew members came in and filled in the holes as a golf crew member might.
Yeah, one of the divots.
Yeah, and it looked as if Pierce may have stepped in one of those there.
Now, this 3rd and 11 will give a tackling assist to the Trojan horse from the shotgun. Troy's defense making a stand here. Big defensive play by Tim Betts. And also over there for Troy State, you see number 93. That's Jose Gamboa, the big Crestview, Florida sophomore. Loss of another yard for Pierce.
First series that Troy State has really dictated the tempo defensively. There you see all sorts of Cardinal jerseys. Betts, Gamboa, as you noted, 3 and out for McNeese State, the first one in a while.
That's about 500 yards of defensive tackle on a 170-pound running back. Latta again end over end, but he'll chase Vennessy back to his 38-yard line, and he loses the football, and McNeese covers it. Unbelievable play by McNeese's B.J. Sams, a true freshman out of Mandeville, Louisiana. Not only did he make the hit, he forced the fumble and recovered it.
Going to be interesting to see here. The officials, there has been no flag thrown, but they obviously were discussing whether there was a halo violation there by Sams. Did he give him enough room to field the football? It appears that he did. And not only does he knock it loose, but in an effort to sit up and regain his balance, obviously he gave him plenty of room to field the football. And after the fumble, Sams right on the money as far as sitting up and the ball tumbling into his arms. And I believe that is what the officials are discussing at this point, whether or not perhaps there was either a fair catch indication or a halo violation. But it didn't look to me, Barry, as if Sams were close enough for a violation of the halo.
Well, our referee is Vance Duncan. The umpire on the left of the screen, Thomas Miller. The back judge, Jesse Dupuis, just coming in, and we'll get this sorted out.
They may give the ball back to Troy here. No, McNeese.
Recovery by McNeese, first down.
Well, Troy State was the team that came in with the glittering turnover ratio. And so far, 2 big turnovers. Both have gone McNeese's way.
Larry Blakeney extremely upset here with the officiating crew. He better be careful. He was way out near the yard marker a moment ago, and he's back out on the field again. There you see him now just stepping back towards the sidelines, and he is extremely upset.
And I think what he's kicking about is, again, what you mentioned, that 2-yard halo. You've got to give him 2 yards, the receiver, 2 yards to make that catch. He did not think that he had that. They'll go to the end zone immediately. The receiver out there is Jermaine Martin, and he overshoots him as Archie was there to supply defense.
Good attempt by McNeese State. These two teams are so similar philosophically. Both of them, after a turnover, like to go for the home run ball, and both of them have scouted each other so well. They are aware of these tendencies. That's one of the reasons Chris Archie had such good coverage that time.
7 of 12 for Nagel. You mentioned the Miami game. McNeese opened up at Miami, lost 61-14, but they were able to move the football. A lot of it obviously did come after the game was well out of reach, but still, their offense was very efficient in that game. Here's Aaron Pierce with yardage across the 30 down to the 28-yard line. As we approach the 3-minute mark of the first half, Derek Jackson, the corner, with the stop.
To continue the reference you just made to my CCS complex, Barry, because Miami, in fact, did play McNeese State, and I was listening to some of the national call-in shows prior to the telecast this morning, and commentators were making the note, Miami fans and officials are pulling for McNeese State to win this game today.
A better record by McNeese State helps Miami's BCS strength. McNeese is 3 of 8 in third down conversions. It's 3rd and about 5, and there's a great hit at the 20-yard line. Does Martin hang on?
I think he does.
Yes, he does. Wow, he took a pop. Antonio Thompson's as big a hitter as there is in the defensive backfield sector of the Southland Football League. Watch the lick he lays on little Jermaine Martin.
Big-time conversion, and you see the hit coming right here. Before he even gets his feet on the ground, he receives the blow from Thompson, yet Martin's able to hang on. He's a little wobbly as they break the huddle here, as you get a good shot of Jimmy McLean, the inside linebacker for Troy. Big conversion, however, for McNeese.
Jermaine Martin goes 5'6", 144 pounds on first down. That's Aaron Pierce with his 20th carry of the first half, and Tim Betts hits him first.
Huge vantage point in this ball game, Barry. Inside 2 minutes now with the clock moving. McNeese State inside the Troy State 20. A touchdown here could really put some separation between these teams mentally, if not only in the scoreboard department. Obviously, Troy State would dearly love to hold McNeese State out of the end zone here and force a field goal attempt.
Clock is in the top right corner of your screen. Approaching 90 seconds until halftime. Nagel play fakes and throws. Wide open is his tight end over there. Down at the 7-yard line in the arms of David Filyaw is Jason Taylor, a sophomore out of Orange, Texas.
What McNeese State does is lull you to sleep with the sweeps, the inside gives repeatedly, and there with the play fake, you see Nagel raise up and hit the tight end, who does have some separation between himself and Filyaw, and he comes over and makes what is eventually the touchdown-saving catch, but not before Taylor pulls it in and has McNeese State in business. Got to watch the clock now, down near the 110 mark.
11 first downs for McNeese State in the game so far. Here's Pierce to the 5. Big hit at the 3-yard line by Umenyora, and that is that.
One of the few times all day we've seen Pierce go down after initial contact. This is indeed an elusive little runner here, and you see him drive forward, but the contact made by Thompson and Umenyora, and down he goes.
Under a minute. Clock management will be a factor here. Pierce with 80 yards, 21 carries, still in the first half. The fullback, this is Lawton, and Lawton gets stood up. He may lose a yard or two, and they're going to have to call a timeout.
Yeah, got to take a time.
Nazir Yamini, who they have gotten strong production out of all season long at middle linebacker, makes a big hit for Troy State. There's Lawton, the fullback, and he will lose yardage back to the 5 as McNeese calls the first timeout of the second half, of the first half.
Another indication of well-coached teams, Barry. Here we are in the final minute of the half of a very close football game where you need every single one of your timeouts. How precious they are. Had McNeese State been forced to botch their timeouts because of substitution mistakes, wrong situational players in the game, etc., they would not have been able to stop the clock here. A sign of two well-coached teams that both still have all their timeouts remaining.
Well, you look at the McNeese sidelines and now the Troy State sidelines. This drive here late in the second quarter was set up by an uncharacteristic Troy State turnover. 7 plays, 30 yards so far after Hayward Skipper's fumbled punt return.
A bit ironic that Troy State mistakes have hurt the Trojans today in the turnover department. They were actually +7 in the turnover margin coming into this football game. It was McNeese State that was -11 in the turnover margin department. However, today, the Trojans with 2 costly errors, the fumble by Black on the opening drive, and then the miscue in the kicking game that just led to this scoring threat for McNeese.
There you look into the eyes of Slade Nagel, the McNeese State quarterback. 3rd down and 5. The situation is this. There are 28 seconds left until halftime. 3rd down and goal from the 5, to be specific. They will run this play and still have timeouts left to kick a field goal if they've got to. From the shotgun now, Nagel on 3rd down. Throws to his back out of the backfield. This is Pierce. 3 guys in front of him. He gets to the 1-yard line.
Amazing.
Where it'll be 4th down. He had 3 tacklers right in front of him, and he somehow got by most of them.
What's scary is this guy was their 3rd-team tailback just a month ago and almost was able to score on his own there. We had a perfect angle of that play from here in the press box, and you'll see it here. Troy State has a wave of defenders in front of Pierce. It's 1 versus 4 here, and he just squirts between them and almost gets into the end zone. That is just a truly great individual effort.
Well, here now, it's 4th down and goal from just outside the 1-yard line. As we look at it again, they rule his knee down. They did not mark where the football came down. And there you see Archie and McLean are right there. So's Yamini. All very sure tacklers, and they just barely get him down. Well, it's 4th and goal from the 1. They're going to go for it right here. They're going to keep Hebert on the sidelines and say it's a touchdown or nothing.
I was about to say that individual effort now places Coach Tate in a position of having to decide whether to go for it or not. And he senses this could be a knockout blow, at least early on, for McNeese State.
Troy State takes a free safety Archie out, puts in an extra linebacker Jerry Bolton, and the crowd stands on 4th and goal in the final minute of the first half. Nagel will throw to the end zone. Touchdown! Unbelievable play call. It goes to Jason Taylor, the sophomore, who had the big catch earlier in this drive. On 4th and goal, they took out a defensive back, and McNeese State, Phil, they just rolled the dice.
What a gutsy call by Coach Terry Tate here, as you see Nagel rolling outside the containment. He's actually got 2 receivers out there. Also open on the play was the big fullback Lawton, but it's Taylor who pulls in the touchdown reception, and McNeese State goes out to what could be a commanding lead in this football game.
Hebert will try to add an extra point. And he got it. Wow. 13 seconds left in the first half of action. McNeese State 10-0 over Troy State. The touchdown comes on a 4th and 1 play, and it's a drag route to the tight end.
Well, that's a great play fake right there by Nagel, freezing the Troy State linebackers momentarily, and Jackson just unable to extend his body far enough to knock that ball away. And indeed, it's Taylor who pulls it in for the score. Beautifully executed play, and again, Barry, that's one of those calls that if it's successful, you look like a genius. If not, there are suggestions otherwise.
Well, there you take a look. The number 3 tight end, Jason Taylor, plays behind George Thompson and Jeff Hamilton. He made 2 key catches in that drive, and he'll get some congratulations on the Cowboys sidelines.
Boy, that is a tremendous momentum lift for McNeese State. You look at the 2 sidelines and you see what a tremendous difference in the enthusiasm. Suddenly, Troy State's momentum sapped.
Well, you see Tommy Tate, 44 years old, a career McNeese State guy. 20 years at McNeese before he got the head coaching chance this year. One of those years as a placement officer, the rest as an assistant football coach. And boy, he definitely showed a little moxie on that play call on 4th and goal. 13 seconds left. We're in the first half, and Hebert will kick it away. It'll roll to an up man. That is Tommy Vennessy, who's moving laterally. Needs to move upfield and fumbles the football loose on the ground in front of the Troy State boundary. It rolls out of bounds before Willie D'Artez can run it down. 9 plays, 35 yards. Again, Phil, it was keyed by that turnover, the Hayward Skipper punt fumble, and it results in the only touchdown of the game to this point.
Well, 3 big plays in the football games thus far have allowed McNeese State to build this 10-0 lead, that being the Black fumble on the opening drive.
Yes.
And then the miscue by Archie, as you mentioned, on the attempted punt return, and then finally the completion on the big 3rd down and goal situation by Nagel.
4 seconds left here in the first half. The Trojans have been shut out so far. Nutter will go from the shotgun and will step up. The horn sounds. He throws complete at the 45-yard line. That'll help gild the stats a bit as Hayward Skipper makes the catch. But the first half ostensibly has come to a close, but as the teams start to run off, we notice a penalty flag at about the 32-yard line.
Well, as you know, the half cannot end on a penalty against the defense. We'll see.
Carruthers was locked into a battle with Joseph Ramey, the defensive tackle. We'll see what Vance Duncan has to say about it.
Personal foul on McNeese. 15 yards on the second half kickoff.
So it's a dead ball play. It does end on the defensive penalty, but it was a dead ball penalty. And the first half has come to a close. McNeese State leads at 10-0 after the first half of play. And we've got halftime coming. Roger Schultz is waiting for Larry Blakeney, but Larry Blakeney is really giving that man what for right now. He is not happy at all with Vance Duncan. And there you see him on the left of your screen. That's Mark Fleetwood, one of the assistants, talking with him as well.
Ready?
Roger Schultz is standing by with Larry
Coach Blakeney, you're in a dogfight right now.
Well, we are, and we've had 2 turnovers that are costly. That gave them their 2 scores, and one on a punt return. We was just asking officials about the halo rule, trying to see if the halo wasn't violated, right. And certainly too late to be talking, but hopefully we can get them a ticket to watch the game here or something. But 2 turnovers are costly. We're not doing a good enough job moving it. They're running the ball effectively and throwing it in critical situations on us. So
I know you want to come and try to establish a pass. Brock Nutter's had a good day passing up and good for the field, but he's had some trouble, got sacked a couple times on some first down passes.
Well, we're going to have to throw it on first down, and we had a missed assignment on the 1 first down. We got sacked early. It's an 11-man game, running or passing or playing defense or kicking it. And we got to play 11 at one time.
All right, good luck, Coach. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Roger, we appreciate it. Some pointed comments from Larry Blakeney as he goes in to address his team at halftime. At intermission here in Troy, let's take a break. It's the Cowboys 10 and the Trojans nothing.
On the front line.
Officers asking for assistance.
And it's all led to this, the special 450th episode, Cops.
Tonight at 7 on Fox 29.
It's happening everywhere in South Louisiana, because everyone knows September is your final chance for a 2000 Toyota. Hurry to your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team and get final clearance financing on every 2000 Tundra. Full-size Tundra, now with low 2.9 financing. Tundra, faster than Chevy Silverado, more payload than Ford's F-150. Now with low 2.9 financing. Everyone, everywhere knows it's final clearance at your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team.
At Boise Cascade, we see the forest for the trees. Trees that are used to build our homes and bring us the news of the world. Forests we renew by planting 6 trees for every one we harvest. Forests that provide natural shelter for Louisiana's wildlife. With our vision, together we'll grow well into the future, just like the forest we oversee. Boise Cascade, products you use from the environment we protect.
It's time again for basketball. The McNeese State basketball teams are loaded and 13 women's home games on tap. It's time now for you to get your season tickets. With reserved seats for $100 and floor seats for $120, there are lots of great seats still available. Don't miss the action. Get in the game. Call McNeese Athletics at 475-5200 and get your season tickets now.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Terry, great interview with Orlando Pace.
By the way, I said we'd babysit his daughter right after the show.
Great! I love kids. Nice going, Bradshaw. Uh-oh.
Pucker up.
Ooh. Terry, you are so dead. The Saints battle the Panthers in a Fox NFL doubleheader this week.
Hi, I'm KVHP Sports Director Joe Capuano. You're watching the McNeese State Cowboys right here on Fox 29.
You're exactly right, Barry. As elusive and as difficult as Pierce is to bring down, he couldn't do it unless those offensive linemen were winning the battle of the trenches, and they have thus far today.
Well, as we mentioned, coming into this one, the Southland Football League Championship somebody's got a clear road to it after this one. McNeese State and Troy State have been in this situation many times before, and for McNeese, you got to really be impressed with Tommy Tate and the fourth down call late in the first half on the road. I think that's a solid call to make. To throw to the end zone on 4th and goal from the 1.
Well, it was a great call, and one that fortunately for him and McNeese State was successful. Just going for it simply on 4th down in that position, whether it be a run or a pass, I thought was a great testament for the confidence he has in that big offensive line and also the experienced quarterback Slade Nagel.
Again, the Troy State defense has played well. The McNeese State defense obviously has played very, very well because they have shut Troy State out. We mentioned last week Troy State in the rain won 6-0. It's been a while since that offense has put a score on the board, and there have been points in this game where they have had certainly some good execution, just haven't gotten it done consistently.
Well, you're right, and as I mentioned in the telecast, I talked with Coach Blakeney before the game, and one of the reasons they put in the wrinkle, the reverse, off the sweep was to try and get a cheap score early, give this offense some needed confidence against the McNeese State defense that has had its number down through the years and certainly to this point as well as today.
Well, that first drive for Troy State, LeBaron Black fumbles into the end zone inside the 10-yard line. One wonders the complexion of the game at that point, but that's all you can do right now is just wonder. We're at halftime here in Troy. McNeese State, the Cowboys are shutting out Troy State so far. It's McNeese 10, Troy State nothing on College Sports Southeast.
We manage over 700,000 acres of timberland in Louisiana alone.
Dan Morrow, forester for Boise Cascade.
Through an intensive genetics program, we combine superior parents to produce genetically superior forests. This means faster growing, higher quality forests that are more resistant to disease. One of the many ways Boise Cascade is managing its business for future generations.
Boise Cascade, providing the products you use, protecting the environment we share.
See how heroic kids brought down suspected predators.
I wouldn't want him to hurt anyone else.
On an all-new America's Most Wanted.
Tonight at 8 on Fox 29.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank. McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Terry, great interview with Orlando Pace.
By the way, I said we'd babysit his daughter right after the show.
Great! I love kids.
Nice going, Bradshaw.
Uh-oh.
Pucker up.
Ooh. Terry, you are so dead. The Saints battle the Panthers in a Fox NFL doubleheader this week.
Back again in Troy, Barry McKnight, Phil Paramore, the Troy State Band in the background, entertaining the crowd here, and the crowd has been prepared to be entertained. You know, Lee Greenwood's coming to sing concert after the game. Troy State comes in with a great chance to make a big stride in the Southland Football League, and quite simply, not a whole lot for Troy State fans to cheer about so far. Phil, to lend a kind of a thread of continuity to a point Roger Schultz made before the game about the line play, about how this will ultimately come down to it. You see so many spread offenses and hurry-up offenses and all these new wrinkles, but it ultimately does come down to line play, and so far on both sides of the ball, McNeese State has exerted superiority.
Well, I agree with you. Blocking and tackling, as is always the case, one of the key determining factors in the outcome of a football game. Also mistakes, and Troy State, for the first time this year, has made key mistakes at various vantage points in this football game, and the Trojans have got to come out and establish something offensively. I think they're going to have to throw the football, as Larry Blakeney alluded to before he went in at halftime. They've got to get something something started offensively, then maybe blend in the run with it, but they've got to get something established, especially early in the possession.
Well, throwing the football for Troy State has been problematic because of the defensive line superiority for McNeese. Jerry Evans with a couple of sacks in the first half. Meanwhile, for McNeese, on the road, as we mentioned before, they're up 10 points right now. They've got that big offensive line. Options in the second half. He does not have to be nearly as wild as he would have on the road with a big deficit.
Well, I agree with you, and the further we go into the second half of this game, the more Troy State is going to have to start taking some chances on both sides of the ball. That includes defensively. You may see them slip 3 or 4 more members up near the line of scrimmage, play 7 or 8 men in the box, and force McNeese State to throw the ball. They cannot allow the Cowboys to continue picking up big yardage on the ground on first down.
Behind us, you hear in full force the Troy State University Sound of the South Marching Band, entertaining the crowd here in Troy. Let's listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grammy Award winner, multi-platinum entertainer, Mr. Lee Greenwood.
With a salute to the veterans, the men and women who have served all around the world to protect the freedom of the United States. Today, 11/11/2000, we support those people who are so in need of friendship when they're so far from home, and also the men who have served on the USS Cole. God bless them, each and every one of them.
Everywhere in South Louisiana, because everyone knows September is your final chance for a 2000 Toyota. Hurry to your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team and get final clearance financing on every 2000 Tundra. Full-size Tundra, now with low 2.9 financing. Tundra, faster than Chevy Silverado, more payload than Ford's F-150, now with low 2.9 financing. Everyone, everywhere knows it's final clearance at your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team.
It's time again for basketball. The McNeese State basketball teams are loaded and ready for a great season. And with 13 men's games and 13 women's home games on tap, it's time now for you to get your season tickets. With reserved seats for $100 and floor seats for $120, there are lots of great seats still available. Don't miss the action. Get in the game. Call McNeese Athletics at 475-5200 and get your season tickets now.
We've never seen anything like it.
Let's take a look.
Ouch!
This man seems to be experiencing chronic stabs of pain.
We believe it's work-related.
What does he do?
Works for a wireless company.
US Unwired?
No, the other guys.
Who?
With PCS service on the only all-digital nationwide network and the region's best cellular coverage, we kind of like sticking it to the competition. US on Wired. We've got you covered.
On November 25th, a benefit baby shower will be held at the Lake Charles Civic Center to raise supplies for the orphaned and abused infants and toddlers of the Guatemala Home for Children. This home is the ministry of Mike and Dottie Clark from Lake Charles and is funded solely by donations. Please join us for live Christian music and family activities on November 25th at the Lake Charles Civic Center. For more information, call 477-9469 and plan to attend baby shower for the Guatemala Home for Children.
10-0 McNeese State. Barry McKnight, Phil Paramore here at halftime. As we take a look at the numbers from the first half of play, we see a lot of things that are really in favor of McNeese State so far, particularly when you look at it. Again, we'll bring up the point about rushing the football. McNeese State has been able to run the football against Troy State's defense. Not many people have done that this year.
Well, you're right. As you see the 88 yards on the ground for McNeese State, almost all of that, of course, by Pierce, and the key 76 yards through the air. Troy State being outgained here by about 50 yards. And the key time of possession stat also in McNeese State's favor, almost 8 full minutes there.
The highlights from the first half of action, there are several of those we want to tell you about. The 10-0 lead has been, again, largely because of a lot of Troy State turnovers. We see the first play from scrimmage. Troy State finds some razzle-dazzle.
And they are successful with this, almost able to score is Jonathan Carter, but an outstanding job by the McNeese State secondary to run him down, and then the Trojans unable to cash in as they hand it off here to LeBaron Black on the opening drive, unable to get the handle, and McNeese State stops that drive. It is indeed one of the key plays of this football game to this point. McNeese State able to move out then and get out some offense. Here's the key play just prior to the half. Larry Blakeney talking about before we went to break, where McNeese State was able to recover the fumble and eventually cash it in for some critical points just before halftime. Here you see the execution by Nagel, and he hooks up with Burton for the touchdown, and Taylor, I should say, and McNeese State claims a huge 10-0 lead here at halftime.
And you're right, Phil. That's a good adjective to use. In the context of these two teams and the way they play, 10-0 could be huge in this one. If I'm Tommy Tate, I'm not being real creative in the second half. I'm just depending, like he did in the first half, on that offensive and defensive line and trying to dictate that.
Well, you're exactly right. What you want to avoid at this juncture, if you're McNeese State, is an easy score for Troy State. You want to make them earn everything they get here in the second half and keep a close eye on that clock as well and use it as your ally as this game goes forward. You can turn this ball game over to your defense if you're Coach Tate.
Well, we touched on it briefly earlier for Larry Blakeney. The adjustments he has to make, I think, mostly are purely execution adjustments.
I think you're right. Troy State has had some open receivers in the pass game. They've been unable to hook up with them. They've just been off by a half step or so, and it's kept them from moving the ball. Troy State has had a single play from scrimmage, which has stopped almost every drive.
Well, that's where we stand at halftime. The second half should be just as entertaining, if not more so. These two Southland Football League heavyweights have battled for a half now, 2 quarters, and McNeese State has the advantage. Getting ready for the second half of action. It's the Cowboys 10 and Troy State nothing.
What is Service Master Clean? It's as tough as making sure your carpets always look their best. And as easy as making sure your rugs do, too. It's responding quickly to get fire and water damage out of your home, while keeping what you want in your home. That's Service Master Clean.
Service Master by Jack. Call 478-1133.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank, McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
Happiness is owning a new or used car or truck from All-Star in Sulphur. Not just because of the great purchase price, but because of the speedy, excellent service that makes owning a car or truck from All-Star a pleasant experience. And now All-Star offers its all-new 16,000 square foot paint and body shop equipped with 2 extended state-of-the-art paint booths and frame machines. Located on 2 acres on North Douglas Parkway, All-Star is able to repair any make or model, including motorhomes and 18-wheelers. For your free estimate, come see us at All-Star Pontiac GMC Truck in Sulphur.
With over 3,000 procedures and 350 open-heart surgeries done last year alone, we provide our region a special place. One that puts patients' hearts in highly experienced hands. Christus St. Patrick Hospital Heart Center. Once again, one of the nation's 100 top hospitals for cardiac care.
At Precision Prints, you'll get one-on-one. We care. You matter. Personal service every single time. As hometown owners, we're on a first-name basis with most of our customers because they're friends instead of faces. Precision Prints has furnished them with sporting apparel and equipment, custom printing, and local team accessories for years. Come into Precision Prints and make friends as you browse our lines of top-quality name-brand equipment and accessories. Precision Prints, Sulphur.
It's the scoring opportunity. We're up 10-0. A lot of game left. A lot of football left.
One thing you've been able to do is control the line of scrimmage. Look, do the same in the second half.
Yeah, we got to play fast. We got to be physical.
All right, thanks, Coach Tate. Good luck.
Boy, you can see Tommy Tate. He's a little bit fired up himself.
He's into this football game, as all of the McNeese State players and coaches have been. And I'll tell you what, after that rousing halftime performance by Lee Greenwood, maybe it'll spur this Troy State crowd onward a little bit.
Well, Tommy Tate, he's in his first year. Hats off for the play call on 4th and goal in the final 30 seconds of the first half that scored the touchdown for him. He's an enthusiastic guy, and he has paid his dues, and he has done an outstanding job in his first year at McNeese State over for Kirby Brockhouse. Meanwhile, Larry Blakeney was rather pointed, as we mentioned in his comments, concerning the officials' call on the halo at the end of the first half with the punt return fumble by Hayward Skipper. But again, our replay showed that it was a pretty good call, I think.
Judgment call, obviously, and one that if I had to go out on a limb, I would say it looked to me as if they got correct. I did not think that there was infringement on Skipper's ability to catch the football. And again, a judgment call by the officials, much like a pass interference infraction or something of that nature. But they do mark off 15 yards, Barry, from the last play prior to the end of the first half. And Troy State will get the kick off from the midfield stripe.
Deep, Jermaine Martin, and also B.J. Sams.
Sam's the guy who made the big play on the punt return, caused the fumble, and then recovered it.
So we're set to begin the second half. McNeese State 10, Troy State nothing. And Tynes will kick it deep over the goalposts and through the end zone, and McNeese will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. In the first half, we did have 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, both against McNeese State. One very early in the half and one very late, but other than that, very clean, very, very physical football game, and we've been impressed with the McNeese State offensive line's work against those guys to this point. Betts and Umanyora and the Troy State defensive front.
Seen too good a football today.
Here we go. 1st and 10 from the 20. Nagel gives it away to Aaron Pierce's tailback, and Pierce is hit and smacked down right at the 20-yard line by Vernon Marable. You see him there, the junior out of Ashland, Alabama.
Barry, you were correct when you alluded to how cleanly played this game has been. The 2 teams have combined for only 5 penalties. McNeese State hit with 3 for 35 yards in the first stanza, while Troy State 2 penalties for 12 yards in the opening half.
Well, Slade Nagel, the junior out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, 11 of 16, and that 1 touchdown late in the first half. Here's Pierce with open running room. Got the first down on a penalty play. David Filyaw grabbed him and slammed him down, but we'll check the flag. It came from the field judge, I believe, over on that far side.
Some of the Troy State players are motioning to their coaches that the infraction is going to be against McNeese State, but it doesn't appear as if they've determined as of this point. Troy State lost containment on that play. Tim Betts coming inside and Pierce able to bounce outside, and McNeese State really doesn't try to get outside.
Here's our referee, Vance Duncan.
On the offense, 15 yards from the end of the run, still second down.
That's a crackback against the offense, and bear in mind, it is paced off from the end of the run. Let's take a look at this one from the end zone, Phil.
Well, you see Pierce getting outside Betts right there. Betts has the inside containment. He was also held on that play, obviously. And now you see the crackback block coming into your screen. Right there you see Antonio Thompson rolling on the ground. He was the recipient of that crackback block, and it sets up a long situation now.
Second and about 15. They go downfield, in and out of the hands. Jermaine Martin had it right in the breadbasket at the 45-yard line with a step advantage over squeeze Antonio Thompson.
Boy, the timing on that play was absolutely perfect. Again, McNeese State has the wind here in the third quarter, and as we look at the flags, you can see it has kicked up significantly here, and he laid that ball out absolutely perfectly for Martin. He just dropped that one, and I think he'd be the first to admit it. Antonio Thompson beaten just slightly on that play, and McNeese could have really, really gone a long way towards winning this football game had they been able to hook up on that one for a score.
There's Jermaine Martin, their #1 receiver. Had one right in the hands. Now 3rd and 12, and Nagel doesn't like the look of something out there, and he will ask for and receive a timeout. It comes early in the third quarter. Timeout Cowboys. 1:04 gone by in the second half, and McNeese State leads by 10.
At Boise Cascade, we see the forest for the trees. Trees that are used to build our homes and bring us the news of the world. Forests we renew by planting 6 trees for every one we harvest. Forests that provide natural shelter for Louisiana's wildlife. With our vision, together we'll grow well into the future, just like the forest we oversee. Boise Cascade, products you use from the environment we protect.
It's happening everywhere in South Louisiana, because everyone knows September is your final chance for a 2000 Toyota. Hurry to your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team and get final clearance financing on every 2000 Tundra. Full-size Tundra, now with low 2.9 financing. Tundra, faster than Chevy Silverado, more payload than Ford's F-150, now with low 2.9 financing. Everyone, everywhere knows it's final clearance at your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team.
Shows from around the country on College Sports Southeast. If you want the latest details about programming times for your favorite coach's show, log on to collegesportscentral.com or check your local listings. Barry McKnight, Phil Paramore up in the booth. Roger Schultz patrolling the sidelines. McNeese State faces a 3rd down and about 12 here, and they've been relatively effective in this situation.
Don't know about you, Barry, but those coaches shows are one of my favorite portions of the programming on CSS. I love watching those things.
Absolutely. You don't want to miss out on all of those insights. College Sports Southeast is your source for a whole bunch of them. Well, 3rd and 12. McNeese needs to get to the 30-yard line. And they'll put 5 wide receivers out there. They'll throw that underneath route. This is Jimmy Redmond, and Redmond will be stopped near the 26-yard line by Umanyora. So Redmond and the McNeese offense go 3 and out on their initial second half possession. And David Latta, the big junior, 228-pounder, averaging 41.2 yards per kick.
That penalty, a key mistake by McNeese State. It stopped that drive.
Latta's last kick was fumbled by Skipper, resulting in an opportunity. Hayward Skipper will go back to about his 23-yard line and make a nice spin upfield. Needs a block, can't get it. 28-yard line. Great punt and nice coverage by McNeese State.
Troy State with decent field position here near the 30-yard line, about the 28, 29-yard line, where they can have access to their full allotment of play assortments and selections in the game plan, and they need to get something going here. They would dearly love to do it on the initial possession.
Well, Troy State coming in, Brock Nutter has led the offense to 334 yards per game on average. So far, halfway through, only 113 yards, and they've only run 24 plays. This one over the middle, that's Jonathan Carter again. Carter trying to get free of the grasp of Gerard Jones, who wrestles him down at the 36-yard line. That's a gain of nearly 7.
As you heard Larry Blakeney say on the halftime comments, Troy State determined to throw the football on first down. Nutter with good protection this time and finding Carter over the middle. Just shy of his first down, but positive yards on first down, setting up a second and short situation, and basically you can do anything you want offensively in this set.
Actually a 9-yard pickup rather than 7. 2nd and 1. He'll play fake, gets away from the grasp of one guy, now shovels it ahead to Bouton, the fullback, and that's a first down. Big time pressure by the blitzing linebacker Ben Duhon, and Bouton, who was over there, gets it shoveled to him. Let's watch again. It's Duhon and Franz Williams supplying the pressure.
Well, Troy State, as we projected, going for the big ball on 2nd and short. Brock Nutter on his way down with a tremendously athletic play to Thaddeus Bouton, and he winds up picking up the first down. And you can see from this camera angle, had he been able to break this tackle, Thaddeus Bouton is off to the races.
Duhon came this close to a sack. Franz Williams does get Bouton to the ground to save a touchdown, but it's a first down, Troy State, on a heady play by the redshirt junior. Here's DeMontre Carter. Carter can't get to the outside. He'll be thrown down by the strong safety Joe Judge. Give him a couple. DeMontre Carter.
Barry, DeMontre Carter is very much a rhythm running back. He wants to get into a rhythm where he's able to pick up some yards, get the ball again, find some type of tempo to suit his ball game, his style of play. He has been unable to do that thus far. McNeese State, a tribute to their defense and their preparation from a defensive standpoint to have a body on DeMontre Carter.
It's only the 4th carry of the game for DeMontre Carter, just 10 yards total on the ground for him. Nutter is changing his play with 5 seconds left on the play clock. Steps up and has plenty of room ahead of him at the 40-yard line. He is out of bounds. Helping him out over there was Duhon at the 38-yard line. Bruce Bolden was over there as well. And it's a first down scramble for Brock Nutter, whose experience is paying dividends on this drive.
As we said in the open, Troy State has actually put in a couple of plays on the quarterback option for Brock Nutter. That time it was simply a scramble, but Brock Nutter has shown the ability and has shown the willingness, if the play is not open, to pull it down and run the ball. And now Troy finally showing some signs of life offensively, moving this ball inside the McNeese State 40. Good job by Brock Nutter on that play.
That's the 10th first down for Troy State. McNeese has 11 in the game. The option give is to the fullback. To the 36-yard line goes Bouton in the arms of Joe Judge. There's plenty of running plays you can call. Don Jacobs and the offensive coaching staff, they do run a lot of different run plays out of the shotgun, Phil.
Yes.
That's one of them.
Well, you're exactly right. That is one of Troy State's advantages in spreading the field the way they did that time with 3 receivers in the ball game, and hopefully getting only 1 or 2 key blocks necessary for a big game. Shoot angles to keep it to a minimum pickup.
Boy, count them along the line. There's 7 men there for McNeese along the front. DeMontre Carter runs right into a couple of them. Maybe a half yard, although certainly not much more than that. Off the bottom of that pile, you see Brad Archie, the linebacker, and Jim Abram, the defensive end. And a penalty against McNeese. It's an encroachment foul. One of those 7 linemen along the front got in that neutral zone.
That's the second time, as you mentioned, that's happened this game.
5-yard penalty against McNeese. So instead of facing a 3rd down and about 7 or 8,
right,
is now 2nd down and about 3.
Just like a 7-yard pickup on first down after that penalty.
That's the 5th penalty against the Cowboys. Troy only 2 for 12 yards. And for the first time in the half, we see an I backfield behind the Troy State quarterback.
Got man-to-man coverage out high.
They'll option to the wide side, and here's DeMontre Carter. Got to beat one guy. He does. Gets to the end, or rather to the boundary. Gerard Jones was over there, but the guy he had to beat to gain that boundary was the free safety, number 30, Arthur Goodley, and he just outran him, and Goodley lost his angle.
Well, you got a good opportunity to see the acceleration right here of DeMontre Carter. Watch him as he takes the pitch. He's just floating along, boom, turns it on and gets outside, shows that burst of speed, and Goodley unable to bring him down until Carter had picked up the first down. Really one of the key components to his game is the acceleration and the changing of speeds, Barry.
It's a 10-yard pickup for DeMontre Carter and a 1st and 10. Inside the 10-minute mark, we're in the 3rd quarter here in Troy, and Nutter wants to throw. Over the middle. Is it intercepted?
Intercepted.
Yes. It's Bruce Bolden who stepped in front of the receiver. Now he will fumble the football. Loose for McNeese State at the 41-yard line. That's Arthur Goodley, the free safety. Bolden is hurt back at the 28-yard line. He stepped right in front of the receiver. I believe it was Carter, and just wrestled it away from him, and another Troy State turnover.
Well, the Trojans went back to the well one time too many. They had already converted a couple of these quick ends to the wide receivers. That time it was, in fact, it looked as if it was Goodley, was it? Who steps up and makes the interception. In fact, it's
it's Bolden who makes the interception, and Goodley who recovers the fumble.
Yes, Bolden steps in front of the passing angle here. Watch him step in the passing lane, picks the ball off, wrestles it away from the Troy State receiver, and then fumbles the ball. It looks as if the ground may have caused that one.
Wow, on 1st down for McNeese. They tried to swing it out to the fullback Lawton, and David Filyaw had a little free lick on Luke Lawton on an incomplete play. They tried to get it to Chad Lucas on the previous play, and Bolden just stepped right in front of him.
And a really deflating play for Troy State from a momentum standpoint, and really took this crowd right back out of it again. You can hear a pin drop here right now at Richard Scrushy Field at Memorial Stadium. Troy State finally able to get something started offensively, only to shoot themselves in the foot again.
Troy State showing blitz. Colbert, the linebacker at the top of the defensive line. He's coming. They'll throw over the middle, and Martin almost got hung out to dry. They throw a lot of those routes in between the hashes to their little guys. Jermaine Martin is 5'6", 144. Marcus Turner is 5'8", 148. Jimmy Redmond is a hulk compared to the rest of them at 6 feet, 188 pounds. But the little guys, they'll go over the middle.
Well, you were exactly right in predicting Troy State coming with a blitz that time. They had a little scheme going with their defensive lineman and Nick Colbert as well, looping to the inside. But those plays developed so quickly by McNeese State, even a blitz package cannot get to Slade Nagel.
Standard 4-3 now. The linebacker's back in coverage. This one's intercepted by Archie. Chris Archie to the 40, 35, 34-yard line. That's a big play. Finally, Troy State gets the crowd back into this one. Hardelick, the right tackle, had to come make the stop. 17 straight games now in which Troy State has forced a turnover.
Well, Slade Nagel has been plagued all year long by the interception, and he overthrows the receiver here, and that time it was Archie who anticipated that passing lane himself, stepped in front of it, turned it upfield, and puts Troy State in business here. McNeese State may have had a player thrown out of the game there, Barry. We'll have to get some clarification from our sideline man, Mr. Schultz, because it looked as if McNeese State's Wes Hines was involved in some extracurricular activities with Tim Betts, and I saw the official really admonishing Hines.
On 1st down after the turnover. This is Carter. Boy, he is hit hard right at the 32-yard line. Making the stick was Chris Winfont, the middle linebacker, and drives DeMontre back. There's Winfont. Well, you look at the numbers again for Slade Nagel, and he's had good numbers so far, but every game this year he has thrown at least one interception. He has not had an interception-free game all year long. That's his 17th interception to go against 14 touchdowns. The turnovers, that's the first one McNeese has committed. And Troy State has committed 3. Each team has one of those here so far in the second half.
You get the notion Troy's got to get something out of this drive, field goal or touchdown.
Carter's the motion man. Nutter has got time, throws to Bouton, who's an excellent receiver as a fullback. Judge shoves him out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Barry, you and I have talked about this in previous Southland Football League telecasts, but this league is notorious for slow whistles, and it's amazing that there are not more injuries that occur. Here's another look at the completion as Nutter finds Bouton floating out of the backfield, and at this point the whistle still had not blown. We can hear it above the playing field here in the press box, but it is consistent. You have to give the league that, but it is notoriously slow.
It enabled Adrian Moore, the Troy State tight end, to get a pretty good shot on the tackler Joe Judge. 9 of 17 for Nutter. You see the 99 yards, no touchdowns. Here's Carter, full head of steam. 10, 5, touchdown. 19 yards, DeMontre Carter, and Troy State is coming back. Beat Winfont's tackle, beat Goodley's tackle.
Well, that's the first thing Trojan fans have had to cheer about all day long, and here's why. DeMontre Carter taking it the distance here. Great play fake there by Brock Nutter. Breaks one, breaks two, and eventually breaks 3 tackles and dives into the end zone. And at last, Troy State has broken the scoring drought in the touchdown department. Their first one in, 6.5 quarters.
Lawrence Tynes is 30 of 30 in extra points this year. Now 31 of 31. 8 minutes, 20 seconds left, third quarter. DeMontre Carter and the Troy State Trojans have gotten 7 points back, but still trail by 3 at home.
We've never seen anything like it.
Let's take a look.
This man seems to be experiencing chronic stabs of pain.
We believe it's work-related.
What does he do?
Works for a wireless company.
U.S. Unwired?
No, the other guys.
Who?
With PCS service on the only all-digital nationwide network and the region's best cellular coverage, we kind of like sticking it to the competition. U.S. Unwired. We've got you covered.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on their best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Watch College Sports Southeast Friday nights at 6:30 for College Sports Central Special Edition, featuring CSSE football analyst and former national championship head coach Gene Stallings. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. 10-7 McNeese State. The TSU fans have something to cheer about. And Phil, we were going to make a point about rhythm before we went to break right there.
DeMontre Carter, as you saw, picked up about 10 yards on an option play earlier. 2 carries later, it's almost as if he's been invigorated. Clearly a good hold there. Thaddeus Bouton seals it off. But this is now DeMontre Carter all on his own, as that's the 3rd tackle he breaks on this run. And if he can get into a flow where he can pick up a few yards, then you see a different level that he seems to raise it to, and that's a tremendous run by DeMontre Carter, once again a former prep All-America out of Pensacola.
Ran for 2,900 yards as a high school senior, caps a 3-play 33-yard drive. Bear in mind it was after the Archie interception. The kickoff is run back to the 21-yard line, and Martin will get smacked by Robbie Farmer, number 41, the freshman out of Hayden, Alabama. And it's 1st and 10. They will give Martin credit to the 21-yard line.
Robbie Farmer, one of those wild men on the specialty teams for Troy State, the suicide squad as they call it. They've gone through an awful lot of those here at Troy State during the Larry Blakeney era.
Slade Nagel has thrown for 84 yards. Very controlled passing so far. Here's Pierce, who has been quiet and continues to be quiet. Boy, shooting the gap was the middle linebacker there, Nazir Yamini, and he got there in a big hurry.
Troy State is determined to not allow McNeese State gain positive yardage on first down. You have seen them bring the linebackers up in the gaps just as they do here. You see Yamini come into your picture right there. In the first half, Barry, those linebackers were playing more passively, waiting for the play to come to them. Now they're stepping up into the gap and taking some chances.
12 of 21 passing for Slade Nagel, 84 yards in that touchdown in the final minute and a half. Now we see Chris Archie having to lose of an injury of some sort. Doesn't look very big, but what that necessitates, with all of the depth TSU has lost in the defensive secondary, a freshman in at free safety, number 51. That's Ronald Harper out of Prattville, Alabama. He is at the very far right of your screen, and he is very, very inexperienced.
Don't be surprised if they go right after him.
And McNeese State will call a timeout. McNeese State takes a timeout here at their own 20-yard line, facing a 2nd down and 11 on the road. Slade Nagel and the Cowboys lead by 3.
Advanced Rehab Services, 3212 2nd Avenue in Lake Charles, offers comprehensive physical and occupational therapy for orthopedic, neurological, and sports injuries and pain management due to injury or arthritis. The professional staff offers personal attention and support using state-of-the-art equipment for computerized treatment and evaluation. Their aquatic therapy features the SwimX therapeutic pool. Advanced Rehab Services for functional capacity evaluations and physical, occupational, industrial, and aquatic therapy. Call 478-8161.
Hello, I'm Gary Carrier from Carrier's Jewelers, and welcome to Antwerp, Belgium, the heart of the diamond industry.
Buying diamonds directly from Antwerp gives Carrier's Jewelers the ability to handpick from some of the world's best diamond inventories. We are so confident our solitaire diamonds are the best that we protect them against loss, theft, or damage with our eternal diamond guarantee. We also offer a lifetime dollar-for-dollar exchange. Stop by Carrier's Jewelers in Sulphur today.
Get the latest college sports news anywhere from College Sports Southeast, located on the web at collegesportscentral.com. The best college sports website anywhere. 10-7, Slade Nagel asks for the timeout on 2nd down and 11. And again, with Archie out at free safety, he had the interception on the previous possession that set up DeMontre Carter's 19-yard touchdown run. And it's Ronald Harper at free safety as taking his place, a true freshman, and they'll go with Pierce, and Pierce springs into that secondary, and Harper has a hand in that tackle. McLean, the weak side linebacker, is there as well, as Aaron Pierce, 170-pound sophomore out of New Orleans, pushes ahead for about 7.
This is his first little bit of running room in the second half. Nice hole opened that time by the McNeese State Big Uglies up front. And Pierce slithers through. This sets up a huge play, Barry, in the overall ebb and flow of this game. A 3rd down play and about 5 or 6 for McNeese. You got the feeling momentum is going Troy's way.
Swing pass to Pierce. Tries to get away from the linebacker Jimmy McLean, but moving very well laterally is the nose tackle Byron Knight to combine on the stop and hold Pierce short. Well, they didn't go after the young freshman. They swung it out instead.
3 and out again for McNeese State here, as you see Troy State's Antonio Thompson closing in to finish off the play. And Troy State's defense has gained control of this football game in the second half, Barry. This looks like a much more inspired defensive effort from the Trojans.
Troy State will put 8 men on the line of scrimmage. And now we'll drop a couple off to try to set up a return of Lattice punt by Hayward Skipper, and it is not a very, very long one at all. Out of bounds. Latta mishit that one. Looked like a Phil Paramore sand wedge, and he'll spot it at about the 41-yard line. And again, field position for Larry Blakeney's Troy State offense.
Almost a mirror of the first half in that Troy State's defense has set the tempo instead of the McNeese State offensive line. And now it's Troy State which is enjoying good field position here in the second stanza, while McNeese State enjoyed that in the opening half. Only a 31-yard punt by David Latta.
41-yard line is where Troy State will scrimmage, down by 3 now with less than 6 to go in the third quarter. Nutter will roll the pocket and throw to the boundary. Nice leaping grab. Jonathan Carter, wow, at midfield and out of bounds. Right in the sun as well, Phil.
Super job that time by Carter as he went up, and you had to know he was aware of the fact he was going to absorb a lick, but he's still able to keep his concentration. Once more, good protection for Troy State. The lineman looking for someone to block, and here you see Carter go up the ladder, and sure enough, he gets a blow, but he hangs on to the football and sets up yet again one of those notorious second and short situations. 2nd and 1.
9-yard gain on the completion as Carter, the man in motion. This is LeBaron Black, skinny into the outside, gets the first down, knocked off his feet at the 46-yard line by the strong safety Hadley Prince. Well, now the numbers are starting to skew, however slightly, Phil, Troy State's way.
We've got another dead ball foul and sportsmanlike conduct, it appears, Barry, on the Cowboys.
Well, I didn't see the flag, certainly didn't see the infraction. But that's another 15-yarder. That is the 3rd personal foul penalty in this game against McNeese State.
And again, talking with their radio crew before the game, we'll get the call here, and I'll finish that point.
Yeah, Vance Duncan is our referee.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Visiting with the McNeese State radio crew prior to the game, they said the thing that had stopped this team from being successful was turnovers and penalties. And as we saw at halftime, only 3 penalties against the Cowboys in the opening stanza, 3 major distance penalties against them here in the 3rd period.
Remember, on the Troy State touchdown drive, of course, the interception set it up, and as well a penalty helped out Troy State as well. Nutter throws to the end zone. Carter is over there along with David Hill, but he overthrows everybody through the back of the end zone. B.J. McNutt, the defensive tackle, was right in Nutter's face.
Well, the protection finally broke down on Brock that time, and I believe he eventually gave up on the play and elected to throw it away, although after he released the ball, David Hill and Carter were able to gain some separation between themselves and the McNeese State secondary members. All for naught, though, and sets up a 2nd and long situation, which is what the Cowboys want to put the Trojans in here on their offensive possessions.
2nd down and 10. Troy State in the I backfield with LeBaron Black and Laquatus Justice. Here's Black for a yard, 2, maybe 3 now as he spins off of an initial hit. And Brad Archie, the linebacker, has to put a stopper on him.
Troy State needs another 5 or 6 yards, I would think, to be fully confident for a Lawrence Tynes field goal effort here. Right now it would be around 45 yards or so, and it is into the wind. Lawrence Tynes' longest is 49 yards thus far this season, but that came off the artificial surface. This, of course, the natural grass surface here in Troy.
LeBaron Black gets 3 on that carry. You saw his numbers cumulatively. It's 3rd and 7 now for Troy State. Bottom of your screen are Carter and Hill, each against single coverage.
Come to blitz.
Here's DeMontre Carter, and they hold him shy of the first down. That's a superlative defensive play by the strong safety Hadley Prince, who was with him the whole way.
It's a big gain, however, in that it gives Lawrence Tynes more room, and it allows him to get a little bit closer to the actual field goal attempt. Now this is going to be just inside 40 yards, as you see the outstanding play by Prince, bringing DeMontre Carter down, and he is not an easy guy to tackle in the open field in a one-on-one situation.
39-yard field goal. Lawrence Tynes is the all-time leader in field goals at Troy State, 74% in his career, 43 field goals, and they will bobble the snap here. Here goes Matt Allen looking for somebody to throw to. It's Tynes, and he can't make the catch.
Yes, he did. He caught it.
Did he make the catch?
He caught it.
He made the catch. That is a great catch by Lawrence Tynes on the far boundary. I lost it, and that's a first down. How about that?
2 seniors who have worked together their entire career as the holder and kicker, respectively, in Matt Allen and Lawrence Tynes. And I hope we've got a good look at this. This is in desperation. Matt Allen is buying time. He's motioning to a tight end in the middle of the field, then just sort of short arms it to Lawrence Tynes, who makes a one-arm catch and falls out of bounds for a first down conversion. That was not a called fake, Barry. It was what they call fire. They yell fire in the hole when a miscue happens on the exchange, and a tremendous play by the holder and the kicker, Allen and Tynes, respectively.
Lawrence, I apologize. I miscalled it. It's a 6-yard gain on Lawrence Tynes. Its first complete reception in his career. There's a fumbled pitch, and LeBaron Black is able to cover. And there's a flag back in the secondary of McNeese State. Charles Thomas was locked into something, the Troy State right tackle.
I think they're going to get McNeese State again here.
It's a holding call. This will go against Troy State.
Okay. I noticed McNeese State defensive back Jared Jones thrusting his arms skyward in frustration at the official's explanation. Maybe he was saying it's about time. I don't know. But this one's going to go against Troy, and it is a major distance penalty that will be a huge mistake here.
State sprang out to a 10-0 lead. Troy's last possession resulted in a touchdown. On this possession, here's Vance Duncan.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the end of the run. Repeat, first down.
10 yards from the end of the run. First down and 26, because the run was actually a 6-yard loss on the fumbled toss sweep for LeBaron Black.
Very important here, Barry, for Troy State's offensive brain trust. Don Jacobs, Mike Turk, Coach Larry Blakeney, I'm sure, as you see with the headset on, he also monitoring the offensive play calling sequence. Important here for Troy State to at least have an opportunity to tie this football game with a field goal this deep in McNeese State territory. With a 1st and 26-27 situation, as you alluded to, they don't want to take too many chances here, throwing the football around this far deep in McNeese territory. If the play's there, obviously take it, but don't force anything if you're Brock Nutter.
They're still talking over the administration of this penalty. The referee, Vance Duncan, the umpire, Thomas Miller.
Correction, new rule this year. Since the play did not result in a gain, the penalty is from the previous spot. 10 yards from the previous spot remains first down.
Basically what that does is gives Troy State 6 yards credit.
That's exactly right. Gives them 6 more yards, and as far as the conversion chances are concerned, it enhances them.
And it is a new rule this year. He is correct about that. There are several new little nuances here and there. 26-yard line, first down and 20 thusly for Troy State offensively. Remember, this drive still ongoing because Lawrence Tynes, lining up for a 39-yard field goal attempt, actually caught a 6-yard first down pass from his holder, Matt Allen. Nutter's got time. Pocket's collapsing, and so is Nutter at the 30-yard line.
Got to throw that football away. You cannot take a sack there and take your football team out of field goal position. Although it's only a 4-yard loss, it makes the difference, and Tynes having a legitimate chance to convert a field goal that would tie this game. And Brock unable to find anybody. Finally, the protection does break down, as you see. Williams. It was, in fact, Williams who closed and made the tackle eventually. I thought that may have been Kennebrew, but in fact it was Williams who made the stop.
Yeah, Franz Williams, a senior defensive end, only goes 207 pounds. He was able to get past Stan Currington, the Troy State left tackle. Second down, 24. Play action, the throw to the end zone. Carter single coverage over there, and it's knocked away. Great job by Keith Smith, the second-team cornerback over there. You'll remember after Bolden's interception, he fumbled it and was injured on the play, and it's been Smith over there since, a redshirt freshman out of Leesville, Louisiana, step for step with Jonathan Carter.
Well, I think Smith can be extremely glad that the face guarding rule has also been changed in college football, because it looked as if Jonathan Carter did not have a chance to catch the football because Smith was between him and the flight pattern of the ball, and Smith didn't know it was on the way. But last possible second, and it sets up a huge third down. Troy State needs 10 yards here.
Possession play. They need 24 to pick up the first down. They need 10 to get in the field goal range. Here's David Hill on a slant to the 20.
They get 10.
They got 10 yards. Arthur Goodley puts David Hill to the turf, and out for the second time in this drive will come Lawrence Tynes. As we mentioned, Tynes has kicked 43 field goals in his Troy State career. That's #1 all time at Troy State. He is a senior out of Milton, Florida, and now with those 43 field goals, also has 1 career pass reception.
This from the right hash, however, Barry, and the sidewinders like it much better from the right hash than the left.
From 37 yards out, Allen's hold is good this time, and the kick is up and good. 1 minute, 44 seconds left in the third quarter, and Troy State has come all the way back. 10-10 score after the...
Troy State able to use some 4 minutes and 11 seconds off the clock thanks to the 4th down conversion on the botched field goal attempt. That winds up being a 10-play, 39-yard drive capped off by the field goal.
10-10 score. While we get an opportunity, let's check down on the sidelines with our man Roger Schultz.
I tell you what, Larry, I'd love to have been in the locker room at halftime to hear what Larry Blakeney told his guys. Defense is out here playing awesome right now. They got it 10-10. But one thing you got to look for on first down, they're trying to pass the ball. They said they have to establish the pass. Whenever they go drop back pass on first down, it seems a sack or a bad play. But every time they roll the pocket on first down, they seem to have a good completion. So look to see the offensive coaches do more rollouts on first down.
It's a good point to bring up. The rollout has been very good to them so far, especially here in the third quarter. Don Jacobs is up here in the booth, the Troy State offensive coordinator, and then offensive staff. John Dye, Mike Turk, Jeremy Rowell has seen this offense scored 10 points here in the third quarter to tie it up. 39 yards on the drive. The three-pointer for Lawrence Tynes has tied it up. Tynes is now 15 of 19 in field goals this year for Troy.
You get the feeling the Troy State mindset, the confidence level has really risen here offensively and defensively in the second half as Tynes kicks it off.
And the fans are back into it. Short kickoff to the 13-yard line for Jermaine Martin. Got to move upfield. Doesn't get there. Loses the football. Did he lose the football? The line judge hasn't made a signal yet.
The notorious slow whistle.
And Cal McNeese says it's Troy football. Jermaine Martin, Jabbar Dunbar, the senior, made the recovery.
Well, again, we kept waiting for the whistle. We never heard it. It looked as if there may have been a loose ball in the pile.
Here's the mistake
Troy
right
State
now.
came up with it.
Moving east and west, Phil, instead of north and south.
I don't know if that ball's loose or not. It doesn't look like it. It looks as if Young pulls the ball away.
Young comes out with it, and there was no kick from Jermaine Martin about the fumble call from our linesman Cal McNeese, but a golden opportunity for Troy State to take the lead.
Mistakes continue to plague McNeese State. Reverse. Fake.
They faked the reverse. DeMontre Carter's got one guy to beat. He gets to the end zone. Touchdown. From 11 yards out, DeMontre Carter, his second score, and Troy State leads for the first time tonight. Goodley and Winfont both had a shot at him defensively, and Carter, like his previous run, Phil, just shed those tacklers.
Well, a tremendous job by Troy State to take advantage of the miscue by McNeese State. DeMontre Carter doing an awful lot of it on his own. He looks like a different runner since he finally got loose for that 10-yard scamper earlier in this period. Watch him make the tackler miss there. Then the contacts he made initially around the 5-yard line. DeMontre keeps those legs churning, and Troy State takes its first lead in this ball game and in this series in a long, long time.
Tynes. Set up by the fumble on the kickoff from Jermaine Martin. DeMontre Carter goes 11 yards on the first play after the turnover. In 6 minutes and 56 seconds of clock time, Troy State has scored 17 points to take the lead. Boy, the second half, we had at halftime lauded McNeese State for their control of the football. Well, in the second half, Chris Archie had an interception off of Slade Nagel. That set up DeMontre Carter's first run, and then the fumble on the kickoff was a real crusher, and Tommy Tate and the McNeese State staff is trying to rally the troops now.
Well, you hate to belabor the point, but this has been a characteristic of McNeese State this entire season. Again, they were -11 in the turnover margin, meaning they had garnered 11 left, and Troy State at +7 in that category, and McNeese State turning the football over.
Back to the sidelines we go and see what Roger Schultz has for us.
Hey, great play call by the coach. They come in with the fake reverse. They set the reverse up on the first play of the game. You've talked about how they set this up to do the fake reverse. Carter, what can you say, man? A phenomenal athlete, gets in the end zone, and Troy State takes advantage of a turnover. Get a score.
That's exactly right. Roger makes that point. The flow was all going the other way because that's where Jonathan Carter was backtracking around DeMontre. We had seen it before, and it had been effective.
Had already executed the reverse twice, faked it that time, and it was just as effective.
Tynes kicks into the end zone where Martin will bring it out. This time running north and south and still swamped at the 12-yard line. Initial hit was by Carl Simmons, the junior, out of Lineville, Alabama. 13-yard gain. Return for Jermaine Martin, who has taken a couple of big hits on the last 2 kick returns.
Well, that time Tynes kicked it into the end zone. He elected to run it out, and as you mentioned, moved more north and south than on the previous return, but Troy State just sprinting down the field in kickoff coverage, and the McNeese Cowboys are backed up in the shadow of their own goalposts again. Boy, is this game turned around or what?
High backfield for Slade, Nagel, and McNeese State. Here's the tailback Pierce, and he is hit by Colbert. The strong side linebacker Nick Colbert is a senior, and he got to Aaron Pierce in the backfield. Also for Troy State, Phil, we note that Chris Archie, the senior free safety, is back in after cramping up earlier on a defensive series. There you see him right there, number 5. The freshman Harper is out at free safety.
You know, here you get a good look at Nick Colbert sniffing this play out and bringing the running back Pierce down in his tracks. In fact, for about a 2-yard loss. Nick Colbert, also a College Football Foundation scholarship recipient in his own right.
Pierce, a couple of yards this time. Maybe Osi Umenyiora was riding on his back. Well, and you mentioned Nick Colbert. We've already talked about Wes Hines and his academic achievements. Nick Colbert, academic All-American last year, candidate this year, and a great player. Here's Umenyiora making a play in near the backfield, fighting off a blocker.
Umenyiora shucking the blocker that time and making the play with help from Nazi Yamini.
Well, 7 seconds left in the third quarter, and McNeese State is content to pick up the football and move to the other side. Here at Troy, we have come down as we thought we would to the final quarter of action. The Trojans lead for the first time this afternoon by 7.
Terry, great interview with Orlando Pace.
By the way, I said we'd babysit his daughter right after the show.
Great! I love kids. Nice going, Bradshaw.
Uh-oh.
Pucker up.
Ooh. Terry, you are so dead.
The Saints battle the Panthers in a Fox NFL doubleheader this week.
We've never seen anything like it.
Let's take a look.
This man seems to be experiencing chronic stabs of pain.
We believe it's work-related.
What does he do?
Works for a wireless company.
U.S. Unwired?
No, the other guys.
Who?
With PCS service on the only all-digital nationwide network and the region's best cellular coverage, we kind of like sticking it to the competition. U.S. Unwired. We've got you covered.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank, McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
Officers asking for assistance.
And it's all led to this, the special 450th episode, Cops, tonight at 7 on Fox 29.
It's happening everywhere in South Louisiana, because everyone knows September is your final chance for a 2000 Toyota. Hurry to your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team and get final clearance financing on every 2000 Tundra. Full-size Tundra, now with low 2.9 financing. Tundra, faster than Chevy Silverado, more payload than Ford's F-150, now with low 2.9 financing. Everyone, everywhere knows it's final clearance at your Louisiana Lanyap Toyota team.
Hi, I'm KVHP Sports Director Joe Capuano. You're watching the McNeese State Cowboys right here on Fox 29.
What it takes and who know how to react when their backs are against the wall, and they know that to get ready for this game, you got to strap it up a little bit tighter. This is not for the faint of heart.
Well, you're right, and I think both these teams enjoy competing against each other because of that factor. No smoke screens, no real trick plays, just mano a mano.
On third down to open the fourth quarter, McNeese State needs the 22-yard line. They scrimmage from their own 11, and Nagel wants to throw. Goes deep, a lot of contact. Penalty flag flies as Redmond makes the catch at the 40, working against David Filyaw. That's a first down for the senior from Kansas City, Missouri.
I think they're going to get him for offensive pass interference, however. It looked as if Redmond may have given Filyaw a shove, and it looks as if the McNeese State players are already walking backwards in anticipation of that call.
Well, let's look here. It was Filyaw who did hit the deck. Here's a good angle, Phil.
There's the shove right there. You see him push Filyaw down. There was no question about it. Right in front of the officials. This is just superb camera work. As you see, Filyaw knocked off his feet by Redmond, and it negates the reception. Great call, however, by McNeese State. In effect, the same as a punt, even if it's intercepted, or in that case,
Pass
if you can convert.
Offense. Pass the distance to the goal. Repeat. Third down.
The field judge made that call. That's Mike Miles, part of this Southland Football League crew, and he made that call very quickly. It happened right at his feet.
And was extremely emphatic about what he saw, went directly to the referee, as you mentioned, and let Vance Duncan know. And McNeese State backed up now with a 3rd and long in their own end zone.
3rd and 16 now, and they'll give it away to Pierce, who goes over the 100-yard mark on that carry. He gets to the 15-yard line before Davern Williams and Nazir Yamini can combine on the stop. Unofficially now, Pierce, 28 carries and 104 yards. 28 carries against the number 4 rated rush defense in the country. And the guy's only 170 pounds, and he's just kept going and going.
Key stat, though, 80+ of those yards came in the opening half. He has been shut down here in the second half.
Deep is Skipper to receive David Latta's punt. Again, not a very good one. It'll bounce and hit a McNeese State player right at the 46-yard line is where they will spot it down. And Troy State again has good field position. Well, let's put this in context. We know Troy State with the 7-point lead has good field position here. If Troy State gets a win here, they go to Jacksonville State next week with a chance to salt it away. McNeese State needs a win here. They'd love to have one. They had this game well in hand at one point, but after this game for McNeese State, they host Nichols State down in Lake Charles, which they should, quite frankly, handle very handily next weekend. So if McNeese State can come back in this one, they have a really, really good shot at the SFL championship. Here's LeBaron Black right up the gut, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Troy State electing to run the football on first down. Interestingly enough, in that set, it will be interesting to note whether or not Don Jacobs elects to open things up here, as he has in the second half. Here's a stat on Troy State: 17 unanswered points, 124 yards in the third quarter alone, only 113 in the first half.
And McNeese State had 2 crucial turnovers in the third quarter after not committing one in the first half as well.
And a couple of crucial penalties, too, let's not forget.
Gain was not. 2nd down and 10 as Nutter rolls the pocket, and he'll get sacked again. Does he get rid of the football in time? Is it a fumble? Now, the linesman Cal McNeil will say it was an incomplete pass. Jake Morrison had his mitts around Brock Nutter, and as Roger Schultz made the point earlier, Troy State really is liking that moving pocket now.
McNeese State got good pursuit from the backside here, however, as you see the linebacker coming. Actually, that's the big defensive end for McNeese State, Jake Morrison, an all-Southland Football League performer, pursuing from the offside, and oftentimes you don't even block that guy when you're rolled in the pocket to the right. His speed, however, wreaked havoc on that play, and it's a big 3rd down conversion now for Troy.
3rd and 10. Nutter on the delay give. Hit hard. Wow, big hit by Hadley Prince, the strong safety. Big shot on LeBaron Black. Prince is 5'9", 196, a sophomore out of Sulphur, Louisiana. And at strong safety, he is the leading tackler on this team, and this kid is a tough nut.
He's a headhunter, and he actually dislodged the helmet off LeBaron Black with the force of that lick. As you noticed, 5'9", 196, but he plays much bigger than that. That was a huge defensive series for McNeese State. It looked as if Troy State had seized the momentum and might have gone a long way towards putting this game away had they been able to drive it down for points. Instead, they're going to have to give up the football.
4 punts. This is the 5th now for Matt Allen. He has averaged 44 yards per kick in this one. Back deep is Turner, and he'll field it at the 10, dive to the 15-yard line. And it does seem as though a majority of the second half for McNeese State's offense has been played way back on their own side of the football field. McNeese State has the football, down by a touchdown in the 4th quarter.
We manage over 700,000 acres of timberland in Louisiana alone.
Dan Morrow, forester for Boise Cascade.
Through an intensive genetics program, we combine superior parents to produce genetically superior forests. This means faster growing, higher quality forests that are more resistant to disease. One of the many ways Boise Cascade is managing its business for future generations.
Boise Cascade, providing the products you use, protecting the environment we share.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
We are really looking forward here at College Sports Southeast for an exciting year of live basketball. CSSC will broadcast more than 85 live basketball games and replay more than 100 contests during this upcoming season. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. The youngsters are getting a chance to pat the Trojan horse. Well, what a great football game so far.
Been a great setting, great temperature, just a wonderful atmosphere for a college football game. Aaron Pierce, by the way, with 7 carries for only 27 yards here in the second half after rolling up 80 yards on 21 totes in the opening 2 quarters.
Last 3 games he has had 100 yards, but he has been relatively ineffective here in the second half. But he rips off big yardage here on this one, 25-30, 34-yard line as a late penalty flag flies in. A pair of them now, actually.
They're going to get Jimmy Redmond for holding here.
Redmond is the receiver, number 6 at the right of your screen, who was advance blocking for Aaron Pierce. David Philyaw made the tackle, and I believe Philyaw may have been the one that Jimmy Redmond was locked up with. Boy, that's 2 penalties against Jimmy Redmond.
That is a big penalty. It got McNeese State out of the shadow of their own goalpost and able to actually operate the offense. But this penalty will be marked off from evidently the spot of the foul after what amounted to about a 13-yard pickup, 15-yard pickup. It's going to be a big swing.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
So wipe it off instead of 1st and 10 from the 30. They move it back to the 15-yard line. As we look at it again, check out the right part of your screen now to the center of your screen.
Right there. He's locked up with him up high. When you extend those hands up high like that and wrap them around the neck, the officials are almost always going to see it, and it certainly affected the outcome of the play there, and a good call by the officiating crew.
So back at the 15-yard line. It's first down still, but now 1st and 11 from the 15 rather than the 30. Misdirection give is to Pierce, and Pierce disappears in the arms of Troy State's Jimmy McLean. Also in there, wrapping him up, was number 97, defensive lineman Carlos Stennis, the transfer from the University of Alabama, who has worked himself up into a backup position at defensive tackle.
You see the clock ticking down in the corner of your screen now, down inside 11 and a half minutes to go in this game. You may wonder why McNeese State doesn't air it out. They are not a downfield passing team. They're a ball control passing team. They utilize their tight ends, their running backs, and the short dink passes to the receivers.
And again, they're not really in that side of the field. That's why the penalty to negate the play earlier. Here they'll try to go downfield, but the coverage is outstanding, and Nagel just has to throw it away. Bearing down on him was Shelton Felton, the right defensive end.
The new rule there allowing him to throw that ball away despite there being no eligible receiver in the area. That because if you stay in the pocket now in college football, you are allowed to ground the football. Not if you're out of the pocket. And to Nagel's credit, he stayed there.
He had a guy within shouting distance. That was his fullback, Darren Osterled, in the flat. But again, you mentioned why aren't they throwing it downfield? They tried that time. Troy State's deep cover was where it was supposed to be.
Exactly, a coverage sack.
Now 3rd and 8 for Nagel. Over the middle, tipped around, intercepted. Colbert, 15, down to the 11-yard line. Nick Colbert, the senior out of Enterprise, Alabama, with his 2nd interception of the season. That was a big one.
Well, he got pressure that time from Tim Betts. Had to get rid of the football just a split second before he wanted to. Nick Colbert dropped back into coverage as he is taught to do. Watch Nick Colbert in the right corner of your screen, dropping back into coverage. He diagnoses the slant, gets a hand up, and then his agility and athleticism takes over and allows him to make a huge interception. In the context of this football game, you saw Betts breathing down the neck of Nagel, and there you see the tremendous job by Nick Colbert anticipating the passing lane, getting in it, and then tipping the ball, and picks up the huge interception for Troy State. And now the turnover is even at 3.
From the 11-yard line, the fullback, Bouton, boy, he just at the last moment had his toes taken out from under him. Otherwise, he would have scored. Ben Dew on the linebacker got him by the shoelaces. Well, 3 turnovers in the second half for McNeese State, and in the second half in the red zone, Troy State has gotten the job done. You remember in the first half, their only foray into the red zone resulted in that LeBaron Black fumble into the end zone on the opening drive. The gain is 5. It's 2nd and 5 from the 6. Power football. DeMontre Carter gets away from Judge, angles to the outside, and is shoved out of bounds by Goodley, the free safety.
Troy State cannot afford to squander another scoring opportunity here, especially after a turnover in the red zone. And McNeese State's defense continues to rise to the occasion here. You see the initial contact there by Judge as Carter strings it outside. He's unable to get away from Goodley, who has played an excellent football game today. He, along with Hadley Prince, have been active all day long.
In at left tackle now for Troy State is Johnny Maddock. Motion is to the right of your screen. That's Jonathan Carter, and a whistle and a stoppage in play. Still 4 seconds on the game, on the play clock.
Timeout. Troy State, they're first of the half.
Troy State calls the timeout here. It comes with 10 minutes and 1 second remaining. We are in the 4th quarter in Troy, and the number 3 Trojans lead McNeese State.
It's time again for basketball. The McNeese State basketball teams are loaded and ready for a great season. And with 13 men's games and 13 women's home games on tap, it's time now for you to get your season tickets. With reserved seats for $100 and 4 seats for $120, there are lots of great seats still available. Don't miss the action. Get in the game. Call McNeese Athletics at 475-5200 and get your season tickets now.
Listen up, truck buyers. Billy Navarre has some fantastic holiday news for you. Chevrolet just announced 4.9% financing for 5 years on our best-selling truck, the Chevy Silverado. Compare the 4.9% to bank rates. You save over $3,000. Yes, now you can beat the price increase and get 4.9% financing plus $3,000 cash back on Chevy Blazers and Ventures. For the lowest prices and payments we've had all year on our 2000 Chevy trucks, shop Billy Navarre in Lake Charles or Sulphur.
Don't miss the most in-depth college sports news show on television nightly at 6:30. It's College Sports Central, only on College Sports Southeast. For more information about CSSE, log on to collegesportscentral.com. Roger Schultz is our man on the sidelines with Phil Paramore in the booth. I'm Barry McKnight. Troy State trailed in the third quarter 10 to nothing. As you see the timeouts, and Troy State scored 17 in the third to take the lead here. And how turnabout is fair play is illustrated here. Last year, Phil, you'll remember McNeese scored 17 in the third quarter down in Lake Charles to win 24-7. And that one's a real crusher for Troy State a year ago because McNeese was having a down year, but they still manhandled Troy State.
That's right. A turnover on the first play of the second half set the tone. Big play here.
3rd and 5. Fullback Bouton right at the middle, and they throw him back. Judge is there, number 37, along with Franz Williams, the defensive end.
Well, Troy State elects to go with what some might consider a safe call there, but what they're trying to do is get a 2-score advantage here, playing it close to the vest inside the 10-minute mark now. An extra 3 points here would put the margin at 10 and force McNeese State to score twice, obviously, to catch up.
Franz Williams late getting out because of an injury. He is staggering to the sidelines. 28-yard field goal attempt is upcoming from Lawrence Tynes, who is 1 for 1 in this one and 15 for 19 in field goals this season.
Just about that area where the turf's loose, Bill.
Let me correct myself. 24-yard field goal, and he got it. 24-yard field goal from that man, senior Lawrence Tynes, after Nick Colbert's interception set up Troy State offensively, and it's now 20-10 TSU and that 2-score margin.
Well, Troy State would have certainly liked to have gotten that ball into the end zone and made this a 2-touchdown margin, but 10 points certainly a safer lead than 7, and the Trojans able to cash in on that turnover and garner themselves a 20-10 advantage.
2 of 2 and a pass reception for Lawrence Tynes as a 23-yarder. Or rather, the 24-yarder just now, officially 23 yards, and the 37-yarder earlier.
Pardon me, Barry, but that reception actually led to one of the field goals, kept that drive alive, and allowed them to actually tie this football game up.
Before the kickoff, let's check in quickly with our man on the sidelines, Roger Schultz.
Hey, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. Troy State's defense has been playing well. McNeese State's down. As you said before, they don't have a very good passing game vertical, and I think they can tee off on them now. You're going to see it's a little more pressure on the McNeese State quarterback. Watch Troy State. They've done a good job adjusting at halftime. They've stopped them this half.
Another good point to bring up. Now Troy State with that 2-score margin, knowing that McNeese has got to start throwing it vertically. They can kind of pin their ears back, Phil.
I would think so, because Pierce has clearly been the focal point of their game plan to this point. What McNeese State wants to do is hammer the ball at you. Now at 9:45, they've got time to do that, but only a couple of possessions, you would think, especially if they have to drive it any distance.
At the 6-yard line, that is Sam's. Sam's gets to the 25-yard line. Well, the Tynes reception earlier that we talked about, which led to his field goal of 37 yards to tie it up at 10, was the only score that Troy State has gotten in this football game, Phil, that wasn't set up by a turnover. Carter's 19-yard run was after Archie's interception. Carter had an 11-yard run as well in the third quarter, set up by the fumble by Jermaine Martin, and just now Tynes in the 23-yarder after Nick Colbert's field goal. The turnovers have been really killers for McNeese.
Well, you combine turnovers and penalties with poor field position, and you've got yourself a quandary.
They'll still go to the ground. This is Pierce skittering for 3 to the 29-yard line. McLean got him.
Again, the key here in the second half has been Troy State's emergence in the front. I thought McNeese State decisively won the battle of the trenches, especially between the offensive linemen and the Troy State down linemen on the defensive side of the ball. But here in the second half, it's been a different story entirely.
Well, you take a look there at Jimmy McLean, the young junior out of Enterprise. Last year against McNeese, 16 tackles. They're released to the tight end. Phil Yaw makes the tackle of Jason Taylor after a gain of maybe 4.
Well, they list Taylor at 6'1", 242. He looks an awfully lot bigger than that. And you see David Filyaw here close on the play and hit him low, where a little guy has got to hit that big tight end. You can't tackle him up high. That's a good open field stop by Filyaw. Huge play now, 3rd down and a shortish 2.
Well, Troy State's defense, especially lately, has excelled in this situation. McNeese, 4 of 15 in 3rd down conversions. Nagel needs a yard. Shovel pass ahead is complete to Lawton. He gets the 1st down to the 40-yard line as Umanyora and several others try to yank him down. Marable was there as well. Just a little Utah pass. I've seen that now twice to my recollection in this game from McNeese, Phil.
Well, one of the plays that they clearly devised during the course of the week in the game plan preparations that they felt like they could convert in 3rd and short situations. As you noted, that's the 2nd time we've seen them execute that play in a possession down situation. Good game plan, good scouting by the McNeese State coaches. There you got to look at Nagel's numbers. Modest by most any stretch.
Well, 15 of 26 is pretty good, but the 97 yards, it's been nickel and dime stuff. This is Pearson to flat, 45, 48-yard line. Filyaw got him over there.
And that gets out of bounds to stop the clock. And although we've still got a half a quarter to play here, it's not too soon to be watching that clock if you're McNeese or Troy State here, with the Trojans nursing a 10-point lead.
Yeah, McNeese passing the ball is just chipping away. No big strikes or anything yet.
Well, they've got plenty of time here to keep cracking away, hopefully get a touchdown or a field goal on this possession. It now, as long as they have maintained possession, becoming very important that they get something out of this drive.
Troy State defensively has Colbert at the top of the defensive line. Looks like they're showing blitz, but on 2nd down they go inside the tackle, where Pierce is stacked up by Davern Williams, the defensive tackle, and the linebacker Yamini.
Again, Troy State's linebackers seem to be much more aggressive in the 2nd half. Instead of allowing the ball carrier to get to them after the initial surge, they are selling out to the run and really filling the gaps, and Yamini made a great tackle there.
Under 7 minutes, 4th quarter. 3rd down and 4. Now they'll throw downfield. That's Redmond with a 1st down catch right in front of Derek Jackson at the 38-yard line. Jimmy Redmond, 2 years at Ohio State, the number 2 receiver on this team behind Jermaine Martin, a senior originally out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, that's tremendous execution that time by quarterback Slade Nagel, hitting Redmond for the 14-yard completion. And it was also a tremendous job by the McNeese State offensive line, keeping Troy out of that pocket and giving Nagel time to deliver the ball.
At the 38-yard line, here's Pierce.
There he goes.
Spurting into the secondary. Filyaw gives chase and knocks him down inside the 5. Wow. Chris Archie is back upfield lying on the turf, but Pierce negotiated his way through some tough sledding in the first 4 or 5 yards right here. And there's where he really turned it on.
Breaking tackles, and they tried to tackle him up high. He got past Umanyora, and once he got into the secondary, it was off to the races for Pierce. Trojans had pretty much squelched him here in the 2nd half until this drive, but Archie being helped off the field now for Troy. He has been plagued by cramps much of this game, Barry.
That's what he is requiring assistance from in this one. 35-yard carry for Aaron Pierce. Last week he carried 40 times. That was his 32nd carry this afternoon. 145 yards for the 169-pound sophomore out of New Orleans.
Amazing how durable this little back is, and he's not a scat back as we've seen. He's a power back as well.
He's the number 3 tailback preseason on this roster behind Jesse Burton and Marcus Strahan. Here's Lawton, the fullback, for the touchdown. From 3 yards out, big Luke Lawton, the 224-pound redshirt freshman, just pile drived into the end zone, and McNeese State goes right down the field to answer Troy State's field goal.
What a drive by the Cowboys, 71 yards in 8 plays, and they converted 3 third down plays on that drive. Huge, huge completion from Nagel to Redmond to keep it alive, and then the big run by Pierce capped off by Lawton's short rush to pay dirt.
Here's the sophomore, Charlie Hebert, out of the hold of David Latta, and he missed it. I think Latta mishandled the snap and was not able to set it up for Hebert, and that is you're right, a big point, and Hebert's mad, but was not much he could have done about it. Latta mishandled the snap, and it's a 4-point margin, and that's a big one. Let's look at Lawton's score here.
Great line surge here by those big offensive guys up front for McNeese State. He didn't get contact until he reached the end zone, and Lawton takes it in, but that was a tremendously large miss. As you mentioned, a botched exchange on the snap, and Latta unable to get it down, and Hebert misses it. He very narrowly slid one inside the goalpost earlier, Barry, and it looks as if the timing may be a little bit off there, but that keeps the margin at 4, and Troy State now still nursing this lead, and they keep it at more than a field goal.
8 plays, 71 yards on the drive, greatly aided by the 35-yard run by Pierce to set up Lawton's 3-yard score.
What a gutsy performance by McNeese after trailing 20-10 and turning the ball over at their own 10-yard line. You think surely this game's about to be over, and actually trailing 17-10, and they hold Troy State to a field goal. That meant a huge difference in this ball game.
And then march down the field for a responding touchdown.
Afterwards, that's correct.
Hebert will kick it to either Carter, DeMontre, or Carter Jonathan, each stationed at about the 5-yard line. This is a high short kick and a penalty play.
McNeese is offsides.
This is Tommy Vennessy to the 22-yard line, and you're right, not only was McNeese offsides, they were significantly offsides.
There had been a couple of close calls earlier, I thought, and that time the officials do indeed detect McNeese State's coverage guys getting past the line of scrimmage, past the 35-yard line before Hebert made contact. Going to make them kick it again, I believe, Barry.
I would. And they will.
Offsides on the kicking team. 5 yards and re-kick.
A lot of teams are doing this against the Troy State kick return guys. Pooch kicking it away from DeMontre and Jonathan Carter, both of whom are averaging over 30 yards a return. And Larry Blakeney was asked about that. He said, well, you know, if they kick it to the 20 every time, then you've kind of defeated the game. You've got it working in your behalf anyway.
Well, they've had some success running to the left on the kickoff return. That's where they've been able to set the wall up most of the season, and they've gotten some big returns. A couple of them have gone for scores. Carter's got one.
Our spotter, Brian Henry, was pointing that out. Each one of them, both DeMontre and Jonathan, have gone the distance. 9 penalties now for McNeese. 3 for Troy State. 3 of those McNeese State penalties have been unsportsmanlike penalties. Those are major distance penalties, and those put gray hairs on Tommy Tate's head. On the left of your screen is DeMontre. At the top right is Jonathan Carter. No relation. They're at the 15, and Hebert will boom this one. At the 5 is Jonathan Carter. They set up the wall in front of him, and he gets a lane to the sidelines. 37-yard line. It's a 32-yard return for Jonathan Carter, which is right at his average.
This ball game now in Troy State's offensive line's hands.
Couple of first downs.
How many times have we alluded to the battle of the trenches in the offensive line versus the defensive line determining the outcome of this game? Never more evident than the 6-minute mark now, 5:48 to go, and Troy trying to hold on to a 4-point lead.
Troy State's Thomas and Jordan and Carruthers and McAlilly and Currington or Johnny Maddox against Franz Williams and Jerry Evans, McNutt and Morrison. Nutter Another very effective day. Nothing flashy in the passing game. Here's Carter. Carter is hit right at the 35-yard line and dropped by Ryan Garrison, the second-team linebacker out of Franklin, Louisiana. You see him there.
Troy State is going to have to convert at least one, if not two, pass completions if they want to win this ball game on this possession. That is keeping it away from McNeese State. Penalties, again, this has been a trend that has been consistent all season long. McNeese State came into this football game having been penalized for 805 yards and 134 yards.
Motion man is the freshman Lucas for TSU. Here's Carter. He'll get a yard, maybe not even that much. As again, Ryan Garrison is there along with that man, middle linebacker Brad Archie, who is the third leading tackler on this McNeese State defense.
Troy State does not want to go 3 and out here and turn this ball back over to McNeese State. Right now, Matt Allen would be punting from somewhere between the 20 and the 25-yard line. And even if he hits a 40, 45-yarder, McNeese ought to get decent field position with plenty of time left now at 4.5 minutes. The Cowboys, however, have spurned a couple of timeouts. They've burned 2 of them. In fact, they only have 1 remaining.
Triple wide receivers, bottom of your screen on third down. Nutter will just take it himself, and he'll lose yardage back to the 32-yard line again. Garrison combining with Hadley Prince to drop him, and it's 4th down, and Garrison may have hurt his arm as he gets up. Prince has been a very active guy from that strong safety position.
This was a simple quarterback draw that we set up in the opening of the broadcast. Brock Nutter took the snap, never had any intention of putting that ball in the air, just pulled it down. McNeese State was waiting on it, and 3 very, very unsuccessful plays in succession for Troy State, although they have milked the clock down now under 4 minutes.
Marcus Turner is deep for the Cowboys. Allen has not had a punt block this year, but he shanks one.
Wow.
Into the Troy State sidelines. Allen, the senior, when they needed a long one, he put one right off the side of his foot. 25 yards on the punt for Matt Allen. 3 minutes, 38 seconds left. We're going down to the wire in Troy, and the homestanding Trojans lead.
Terry, great interview with Orlando Pace.
By the way, I said we'd babysit his daughter right after the show.
Great! I love kids. Nice going, Bradshaw.
Uh-oh.
Pucker up.
Ooh.
Terry, you are so dead.
The Saints battle the Panthers in a Fox NFL doubleheader this week.
Cameron State Bank's not big. Cameron State Bank's not tough. Cameron State Bank is a hometown bank, and it's just big enough for the hometown folks and the hometown stuff. Cameron State Bank, McNeese Cowboys and Cameron State Bank, your hometown team.
Log on to WatchFox.com and use the remote for real-time News at 9 replay, sports highlights, weather, and lots more. Website designed and hosted by National Networks.
Watch College Sports Southeast Friday nights at 6:30 for College Sports Central Special Edition, featuring CSSC football analyst and former national championship head football coach Gene Stallings. College Sports Southeast is your source for college sports. Down on the sidelines in the waning moments of this one, we will once again check in with Roger Schultz.
Wow, what about that vertical passing game I was talking about? It didn't show up. They ran the ball down the field last time. Defense has played well this half. Now they got to bow their backs and get this one more stop with only 3 minutes to go in the game. They got to do it right here.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 38 seconds exactly, Raj. The point after touchdown miss becomes even more critical. Charlie Hebert missed it on the previous touchdown, and it's got to be a touchdown here.
Well, there's no question. They've got to get 6 points if they intend to win this game. And the extra point miss, yet another example of the kicking game determining football games. Here you see the graphic total yards. McNeese State enjoying about a 40-yard advantage over Troy State.
McNeese State averaging 412 yards per game total offense.
Here's your ball game on this possession.
43-yard line. They start this drive on the end around to Jermaine Martin. Slips a tackle, slips another tackle. He's at midfield, down inside Troy territory at the 45-yard line. That's a first down. Marable finally makes the play, but Troy State had the little guy down a couple of times, and he just broke through.
Cutting back across the grain. We'll get one more look at it on the end around. Now watch him go back against the grain. If he gets past Marable, he's off to the races.
Gets past two of the surest tacklers Troy State has got, Jimmy McLean and Antonio Thompson. Before the play can begin, flags will fly in at the line of scrimmage.
Barry, again, McNeese State with only a single timeout remaining.
Call goes against the Cowboys.
May not have been set for a full second there.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Ball right dead solid at midfield on first down and 15 now for the Cowboys. Crowd is up. Nagel looks to throw, swings it out to Pierce.
Ooh, that looks like a clip, but they're not going to call it.
Inside the 50 to the 48-yard line. McLean was over there, and he got blocked by Jimmy Redmond. Derek Jackson, the left cornerback, got to him after a gain of just a couple, but the crowd screaming that McLean got hit in the back. Here will be a good angle for you to take a look at it.
Well, he was lobbying for it, and let's see here as you see the reception by Pierce as he tries to get outside, and there you see that's a good call.
Yes.
The block there as obviously the receiver had his head in front of the defender. Another flag.
Second down and another infraction before the snap of the football.
Let's give credit where it's due. That was Jimmy Redmond who made that good block. He's been hit with a couple of key penalties in this game.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards. Your first down.
Jeff Hamilton, I believe, the tight end, got him, and Tommy Tate is a little bit frustrated right now. That's 2 penalties on this crucial drive, and the penalties are really starting to mount up. 11 now against McNeese in this football game. Under 3 minutes to go, 2nd and 20.
Screen.
Intercepted, no! Right in front of it was Davern Williams. He had it right between the 9 and 6, but he wasn't expecting it, and that could have salted the game away.
That was your ball game. They let the Troy State defenders come through on the screen. Williams, read screen all the way. He's off to the races. It's going to be a touchdown for Troy State. He was looking for Martin on the screen, but unfortunately unable to pull it in, and McNeese State still alive. 3rd down.
Nutter and Currington and others exhorting the Troy State crowd, and it's loud right now. Nagel under pressure. Colbert got him.
That's outside the pocket. Surely that's grounding.
It's outside the pocket. And Nagel will live to see another day. Boy, Colbert's really coming here.
Now the officials obviously judging that the arm was in motion before Colbert got there, but boy, it certainly doesn't look like it, does it?
From the blind side, and when Colbert comes on the blitz, he's really coming.
Colbert coming all the way from the offside, showing the speed that he has and making that tackle. And McNeese State apparently going to punt the football away here on a 4th and 15 situation. They have sent on the punt team, Barry. A little bit of a surprise, in my opinion, with only 1 timeout left.
And with the field position they've got, which is not really bad. Here's Latta.
This may be a fake.
And they allow the play clock, or the play clock to expire. And that'll spot him back 5 more.
I cannot possibly believe Coach Tate would punt this ball away with 2.5 to go and only a single timeout remaining.
And with a 4-point deficit rather than a 3.
And the ball near midfield.
You know, I can understand getting the ball back in time to get in position offensively to kick a field goal.
Had delay a game on the offense. 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
But kicking the football with 2 minutes and 26, which is granted a lot of time, but again, McNeese State needs a touchdown to get the football back after a stop and to be able to negotiate downfield and get a touchdown. That's an iffy proposition, Phil, and they're going to evidently play it that way.
Well, keep in mind, Jermaine Martin is lined up at one side, Sam's at the other. We'll see if they actually punt it here.
Latta, the punter, is a very good athlete, but he will kick it away. End over end kick, and Skipper has been told As soon as he got to the sidelines to fair catch that football, don't even think about anything else. Well, Troy State has it just shy of their own 22-yard line. And we have a guy back upfield that looks to be hurt. I believe that's Betts. Yeah. And he looks to be in some severe discomfort.
Betts has been a whale of a player here for Troy State. You get a good shot there of Archie and one of his teammates, Carl Simmons, I should say, on the sideline. But Tim Betts, after transferring from South Carolina, has had a magnificent career for Troy State. The Pensacola native, a senior, 6'2", 231, and has just shown tremendous speed. Looks as if he's got a cut there on one of his fingers.
Well, Larry Blakeney sees his team with possession of the football and in possession of a 4-point lead against his main nemesis in the regular season. You and I talked. Regular season nemesis has been McNeese. His postseason nemesis has been Florida A&M. A first down for his team right here would be very beneficial to the Trojan chances. Fullback is Bouton for 2, maybe 3. Jim Abram, the defensive end.
Got to use that timeout. They're going to allow the clock to continue to run here and evidently wait until third down to use the timeout if the Trojans are held over these next 2 plays.
Now Nutter and the Troy State offense will certainly not be in any particular hurry to snap this thing. He gets the play call with 14 seconds on the play clock.
A first down here and the game's over.
Under 2 minutes. 4 on the play clock. They snap it with 1. And here's DeMontre Carter.
Oh, he goes out of bounds.
On a penalty play, Goodley shoved him out of bounds. DeMontre did not necessarily want that, but again, back upfield, there's an infraction that was committed, and this will be charged against Troy State.
Which is going to mean they will have to punt the football now, almost assuredly. Although Troy State will trade that penalty because they did not have a first down, and we'll get the call here from the official.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still second down.
Charles Thomas likely the culprit there, but Troy State will trade the 30 seconds it took to run that play for a repeat of second down.
Clock will run as they spot the football with less than 1.5 minutes left now. Second down, 16 for the Trojans. Here's DeMontre Carter moving to the outside, trying to get to the 20, and he does. 22-yard line, and Goodley again, the free safety, has had to make a lot of tackles, and as soon as Carter hits the turf, McNeese calls the timeout. Well, that's it for McNeese as far as their allotment of timeouts. DeMontre Carter, a 19-yard touchdown run, an 11-yard touchdown run, and with 1 minute 10 seconds left, Larry Blakeney knows that the Cowboys can't stop it anymore.
McNeese is going to have to play for a blocked punt, it appears to me, because Troy State will be able to run a play here on third down. McNeese cannot stop the clock. So you're looking at about 30 to 35 seconds coming off the scoreboard clock as you see it in the corner of your screen before Troy State would have to snap the ball on a punt. That would leave only about 40 to 45 seconds for McNeese State to operate offensively. So they evidently are placing all their eggs in the block punt basket.
Youngster coming here and enjoying this football game. And it has been a very enjoyable one to watch.
Much like we expected.
Exactly like we expected. Knockdown, drag out, to coin a phrase. It has lived up to expectations. There you see Mike Turk, the running backs coach, talking with Brock Nutter on 3rd down and 9 with 1 minute 10 left. One wonders how they're going to approach this one. Boy, look at the 3rd down conversions on Troy State's side of the ledger. They have not been good at all.
You convert 1 3rd down conversion and you lead the football game inside of 1 minute 10 to play.
Nutter still has 10 seconds on the play clock, but the game clock is stopped until the snap. Here's DeMontre Carter trying for the first down. He is very close.
That's your ball game.
Goodley makes the tackle again, and it looks as though where they have spotted it, now they can start celebrating on the sidelines. The second and third effort buys a big smile to the face of Larry Blakeney.
And a Gatorade shower, I do believe. We didn't quite catch that, but the players were ready for the cue. And you see Larry Blakeney plant a big kiss right on the forehead of DeMontre Carter as he came off the field, and he got those last 5 yards on his own, Barry.
An 11-yard run when they needed 11, and DeMontre Carter had to go through a couple of tacklers to gain that 11. Nutter to the knee, and that ought to do it. They'll spot the football.
And that will, in fact, do it.
That will do it. 20 seconds left, 21 seconds on the play clock. Troy State does not have to snap it again.
A 1 second differential. You're right. It's over.
10 seconds. And here come the Trojans. They are victorious. Troy State has broken a 3-game McNeese State winning streak in this series. More importantly, Phil, Larry Blakeney knows he's got the inside track to the league crown.
And almost now assuredly locking up a Division I AA playoff spot, even if an upset occurs at Jacksonville State next week. And certainly it would be conceivable that that would happen. Troy State at 8-3 would almost be a lock for the playoffs. They've got bigger and better things on their mind, though. They'd love to capture the Southland Football League championship outright, and they can do it next week at the home of their arch rival. A game we'll have, by the way, right here on CSS.
Troy State now 8-2 on the season. McNeese State falls to 7-3. Troy State 5-1 in league play. McNeese State is now 4-2 in the league, and a very happy man, Larry Blakeney, is with Roger Schultz.
All right. We got Coach Blakeney here. What did you tell the boys at halftime?
Well, we talked about how ways to score and overcome the deficit. Right. We scored a lot of points in halves of football before. We've come from behind before. We knew we were against a great football team in McNeese State. Right. But we're at home. Well, we needed to seize the momentum in the third quarter.
Right, and take the lead in the Southland Conference. That helps score Jacksonville State next week at an in-state rivalry. I know that stuff. It's a huge high right now, and you got to get ready.
I'd rather be coaching off of this kind of win than coaching off a loss. So.
That's right. Congratulations, Coach. Appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Larry Blakeney's got plenty of reason to smile. McNeese State took a 10-0 lead, and Troy State in the third quarter led at 17-10, then 20-10. They end up winning at 20-16. Back in a moment here in Troy.